You're watching college baseball here on ESPN+. The Campbell Fighting Camels back in Bowie's Creek hosting the Purdue Boilermakers, the first ever matchup between these clubs, featuring two coaching staffs that work together back in Bowie's Creek and now ready to battle in the Campbell Invitation. Thank you for joining us here in the broadcast booth alongside the former Campbell All-American Cole Hallam and Budrovich with you today. Purdue's head coach, Greg Goff, started his coaching career at Campbell. Justin Hare worked under his staff a decade ago. How does the familiarity of these two staffs play a factor in this matchup?
Well, I think both coaching staffs know exactly what the other's going to try and do, so it's really going to come down to being a game of execution. Can you convert the big moment and score enough runs to win?
Purdue's won 3 of 4 to start the season. Campbell, 2 top 25 wins. What stands out about this Purdue start under the first-year head coach, Greg Goff?
Well, you got to start with the coaching staff under Coach Goff and Coach Marks. You know exactly what you're going to get. Two highly competitive guys that are going to have a very prepared ball club, and they're going to come in here and fight to win.
Purdue's starting lineup, you see here, an offense that's really cooking so far, hitting .256, including 8 doubles on the year, led by Ben Missel in the heart of the lineup, and Miles Symington, also a key player to watch. Purdue with 3 wins at home, now on the road for the first time, and the Boilermakers are set to face Campbell's ace in Cam Cowan. He's coming off the junior right-hander, an 8 1/3 inning start, 15 strikeouts. What makes him a dominant starting pitcher?
Well, he gets ahead in the count. He competes. He's got an above-average offering in the fastball, a couple of off-speed pitches, so he allows himself to be successful by getting ahead. And when he does, he's able to get there. He converts the strikeout or forces weak contact, gives his team a chance to win.
D1Baseball.com called Cowan's start last Friday against South Alabama the best in college baseball to this point in the year. The lone run he gave up was in the final inning, a walk-off home run in a 1-0 loss. Let's get things rolling here at the top of the first. Purdue coming down from Indiana. The Camels back at home with their 1-0 on the year. An upset win over top 25 ECU on Wednesday. Leading things off for the Boilermakers, it's Skylar Hunter, the center fielder. He has started every game this year. Right now, the 4th best batting average on the starting attack. We are underway here at 4:02. These teams have never met, yet Campbell has faced a Big Ten foe 3 straight seasons. And under Justin Hare's watch, the Camels are 4-6 all-time against the Big Ten Conference. And Cowan's pitch is called inside here by Brian Kennedy, our home plate umpire. Skylar Hunter and the Boilermakers, their offense exploded over the weekend, winning 3 of 4, including a 10-9 win in the closing game of the series to take down Hofstra as Hunter takes strike 1. Skylar Hunter, 5th all-time in Purdue triples. He's got 11 in his career. Right now looking for his second extra base hit of the season. This one's ripped off the netting, and the count works even.
And Cowan looks like he's going to come out and be aggressive early, throwing the fastball, really coming at him, missing over the inside corner a couple times, but living in the mid-90s. Looks like he's very comfortable, ready to get after some hitters.
Purdue's offense this past season, 10th in batting average. Looking to get things going here in 2020 as Hunter drills one to third. First chance for this Campbell defense, and Williams' throw to first is in plenty of time. Defensively for Campbell, just 1 error on the young campaign. Trying to help out their right-handed starter who needed 97 pitches to almost go the distance last Friday night.
Yeah, he had it. He threw, a heck of a ball game, did everything he could to keep his team in it. Unfortunately, when you throw, that many innings, that many pitches, one's bound to get away from you. But I think either way, he's got to hold his head high. He threw a heck of a ball game.
Now Kyle LaPlante takes strike 1 as Cowan gave up 3 hits in that matchup, and now LaPlante, he's been hitting the ball over the place. A home run and 6 RBI to open up his campaign. He'll get the start at third base tonight. And now 1-1 to LaPlante. Cowan on that last pitch, 93. He sits in the low to mid-90s with his fastball. His slider may be his best strikeout pitch. Nearly double-digit punch-outs with that slider last week.
And you're exactly right. It is such a dangerous pitch, but he does a great job of setting it up with the fastball. He challenges the zone early. We've seen him here already being aggressive. So once he's able to get himself ahead in the count with 2 strikes, he's going to go to the dangerous slider, try to get some strikeouts early on in this ballgame.
LaPlante and this Purdue offense averaging nearly 8 runs a game. Big uptick from last season's totals where they hit just 240. But here's a strikeout, a little plant. Cam Cowan with that slider, and there's out number 2.
And that's Cowan executing his game plan to perfection. Starts him off early with the fastballs, really establishing, and goes right back to the slider. Just on the outside corner, picks up the K right where he left off last week.
What makes a pitch like that so tough to hit?
Well, his fastball is just so dangerous that, we talked about it being in the low to mid 90s at times, and that pitch coming in at 81 miles an hour with the same arm speed with great location. That's going to be tough for any hitter to catch up with.
Zach Fascia trying to catch up to the breaking ball, and he is late. Fascia in the heart of this lineup hitting .500 with 3 RBI. Keep in mind, Purdue struggled to score after an outstanding 2018 campaign. They reached the Chapel Hill Regional. As Fascia goes down, 0-2. Last season, averaging just 4 runs a game. Big part of the reason why a new change in the coaching staff. Greg Goff promoted from the volunteer to the full-time head coach. And bringing in his offense, who's 3-1 on the year. Time is granted right before Cowan was set to throw. I don't think Cam even saw it.
He didn't. He's so in the zone. You got to love the tempo to start this game off right there, trying to jump right back in the box, and just caught him a bit off guard.
The 0-2 is smack back foul. Certainly for Purdue here on the road, trying to rectify a tough slate last year, just 5 road wins. Did have a winning record at home, did the Boilermakers. But now in their first road game of the season, facing Campbell's ace. And Cowan, this pitch is popped out of play. Long run for Williams, who can't get to it. Big foul territory here at Jim Perry Stadium that was completely covered in ice this morning. You guys will see a little bit of the snow in the outfield throughout this game, but it was 25 degrees and pretty chilly this morning.
And it really is a miracle we're here playing ball. It's sunny, and, well, they're telling us it's 75, but I'm not quite believing it. The field, we got an inch or so of rain, or rain and snow for that matter, so pretty impressive we're here.
Cam Cowan working quickly in this first inning, opening game of the Campbell Invitational. And the breaking ball's left up. Fascia drills it out to right. Harris giving chase, and that ball is out of here. First home run of the season for Zach Fascia, and Purdue jumps ahead 1-0.
And that's a pitch that Cam Cowan's going to want back. He was right where he wanted to be in the count, but with a right-handed pitcher and a left-handed hitter, you got to bury the slider on the back foot or really leave it on the back door. And right there, it's out over the middle of the plate, and Fascia doesn't miss it, drives it over the right field wall.
As Ben Nissel smacks this fastball foul, that was not only the first home run for Fascia in this Purdue offense, a big spark early in this game against a pitcher who had only given up 1 run all year on a solo home run. Now a huge swing by Nissel again, and the count's 0-2. It's fascinating how 1 run can lead to an avalanche, if you will, of offense. Be curious with this Purdue early success, will that translate throughout the at-bats against Cowan, who has been pretty impressive so far?
Well, and I think that all starts with Cowan and how he reacts.
He comes back with a pitch, and there's strike 3 with a fastball. 1 run in for Purdue, and Cowan shuts the door with a heater to end the first. Purdue up 1-0 here on ESPN Plus.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading protection to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Geico makes it easy to get help when I need it. With licensed agents available 24/7, it's not just easy. It's having Jerome Bettis on your flag football team easy. Go get him, Bus!
Ooh. Come on, Bus. Come on. Hey, wait. I'm glad I got the flag. I got your flag. I'm glad I got the flag.
It's Geico Easy, with licensed agents available 24/7.
49-0.
Campbell to the plate here in the bottom of the first. Check out Justin Hare's lineup Then on Wednesday, scored 7 runs against East Carolina. Big spark at the top. Waldy Arias now hitting .357 on the season.
And I'm looking forward to seeing this Campbell offense get back at it. Waldy Arias has been starting everything for them offensively. He's been great at getting on base. He's taking hit by pitches. He's hitting the ball in the outfield and really looking for him to get things started.
This Campbell attack on the young season, hitting close to .260. There's Justin Hare's bunch. Club, the 2-time Big South champion, sporting some new jerseys today, and also some hoodies when it's in the mid-40s right now, if not touching the low 30s by the time we get rolling tonight.
It's going to be a chilly game, and they need to take advantage of hitting the ball early. While it is a little bit warmer, it's going to carry a bit more as the temperature sets in. It's going to get tough.
Here's Trent Johnson, the junior right-hander from Crawfordsville, Indiana. He was among the best in the Big Ten last year in batting average against. Really stepped into the starting role midway through last season and finished up with a 3-3 record. He'll take on Arias in the top of this Campbell lineup here with a 1-0 lead.
And looking to see Johnson jump in and challenge the zone. Last week, not his best work. Had a couple of walks, had a couple things get away from him. So if he can get in the zone and establish himself early, he should be in good shape.
You see Johnson with a funky Johnny Cueto-esque delivery, missing low to get things started. Trent was named the pitcher of the year by his own teammates this past season, sliding into that Friday role. And Arias smacks one to third off the glove of LaPlante, takes his time and makes the play. Quick out to start the bottom of the first. And Purdue really getting things rolling early here with a 1-0 lead. Got to give credit to Johnson, who in his last start was only able to work 2 2/3 innings, 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. How can he get more comfortable today?
Well, exactly how he started with Waldy at the plate. He challenged the zone. Anytime you're ahead in counts, it's going to give you a chance to be successful and get into the pitches that hitters don't want to hit as much with the breaking ball and the changeup and things of that nature. So as long as he stays ahead, he's going to give himself a chance to go deeper into this ball game.
This is Spencer Packard, Campbell's preseason all-conference selection, but off to a slow start here through the first 4 games of the year, hitting just 100 with 2 RBI. And today, Justin Hare is elected to move him up in the order to the 2 spot.
And I like the move with the right-hander Johnson on the mound. It presents a good matchup for Packard, hitting from the left side of the dish. Let him get some confidence up there at the top, see if he can get something going, because we saw exactly how dangerous he was last year, and if they can get him going, it'll bring a whole new spark to the Campbell offense.
Packard hit nearly .440 in the Greenville Regional last June. End of the year is the top hitter at the plate, and now works ahead 3-1 against Johnson. Trent highly effective throwing strikes, but in his last regular season start, he did walk 5. Coming out this year, walks weren't the issue, but a quick trigger from Chris Marks, the pitching coach. And now Johnson with a 3-1. Slow roller to second. Powers able to collect, and there's out number 2.
And a great job there of Johnson finding his way back into the zone. Probably a swing that Packard's going to want back. It's an 86-mile-an-hour fastball over the middle of the plate. Gets a little bit cheated there and ends up rolling it over the right side. Not a great first at bat for him.
Trent Johnson had 73 punch-outs last year. That was his bread and butter on the hill. That was the most ever by a Purdue sophomore in program history. And today he's been forcing contact and his defense making plays. 2 outs now for Colin Wolfe, who watches strike 1. Colin off to a .313 start at the plate. He was Campbell's RBI leader this past season. He was one of 8 different players in this Campbell offense to have at least 40 RBI, and obviously Wolfe had the most with 48. It really speaks to the balance of this attack.
It does. There's so many good players around him, and I'm sure if you ask him, he'll tell you that he benefits from that. Anytime you're trying to dodge a hitter behind him or in front of him, it sets him up in a successful situation. So, but with that being said, he's the battery of this team. He brings so much energy and passion to the field. Great guy to have in the lineup.
You see both teams looking to their wristbands before every pitch. It's worth mentioning that Purdue's head coach, Greg Goff, mentored and worked along with Justin Hare for nearly 6 years. As Wolfe able to stay alive. Then Goff bounces around to Louisiana Tech, finds his way up from Alabama to Purdue, And this past year, he brings along Campbell's former pitching coach in Chris Marks. So the intricacies of this coaching duo are fascinating to watch.
They are, and there's a lot of personal feelings out there on this field today. There's maybe not two guys in college baseball who want to beat each other worse than these two, not to mention when you add Marks to the mix, who is going to be a great asset under Coach Goff.
The Purdue pitching staff this past year, a 4.4 ERA. That was in the middle of the Big Ten, 10th overall. And now bringing a new pitching coach. Spent the last 4 years at Campbell. And the count works even to Colin Wolfe. Those ties all come together by a tournament that was brought up earlier before Greg Goff was initially promoted to the head coach. So even more the reason now, a few months later, to have those symbiotic relationships, if you will. Marks was the recruiting coordinator for Justin the last 2 years. And Johnson to the fastball. This is lifted out to left. Nissel looks up, and against the wall, the catch for Ben Nissel. Long fly ball out for Wolf. Let's go to the second. Purdue up 1-0 here on ESPN Plus. Zach Fascia wasting no time in the first inning. A solo home run off Cam Cowan, an early 1-0 lead for Purdue.
And look for Cam Cowan to bounce back from that. We've seen that he can be a victim of the long ball at times, but here getting started early, he's looked good. He had one pitch get away from him. Still very much in the ball game here, down 1-0. So look for him to bounce back, get ahead early in counts.
Purdue and Campbell, the first ever matchup between these programs, and the home run telling the story in this first inning. Wind is blowing out today, which is something you don't typically see at this ballpark, especially on a Friday like this. But early home run power from Zach Fascia, his first home run of the season. And now Miles Symington gets things started for Purdue. A versatile lineup, in Symington, one of the two left-handers in the attack, sprays this pitch out of play. Miles so far this season has 2 hits, including a home run. And Purdue's offense, only 3 dingers on the year, but that swing was very impressive by Fascia. We're seeing some big hacks in this game.
It was, and we talked about how personal it is. It's an early game in the season, but every player on the team knows how important this game is and how far it's going to go in carrying confidence through this tournament.
Cam Cowan coming off a 15 strikeout performance. He's got 2 Ks in this one. And after a quick glance of his jigsaw puzzle of a wristband, he's ready to go. The 0-2 is popped out of play. Symington out of Bloomington, Illinois. He's a transfer from Heartland Junior College. And looking to bounce back from a 1-for-5 effort on Sunday. Symington lays off the breaking ball. Stay alive 1-2.
And a good adjustment there from Cowan. We saw the breaking ball early on get hit out by the left-handed Fascia. Right there, he leaves it more out over the plate, tries to clip the corner. When you're that far ahead in the count, that's a good adjustment for him.
Cowan back to work at 1-2. And this pitch is just off the edge, evening things up to Symington. Miles, not only a home run, a grand slam in an impressive comeback win over Hofstra. That was 10-4 in that effort. Inside corner, called strike 3. Symington goes down looking. Third punch out for Cowan.
That's the big pitch there for Cowan. When his fastball's on, it's easy for him to make everything go. And right here with no fear, goes in on the inside corner of the left-hander, picks up a punch out.
Felt like part of that strikeout was feeling out the strike zone there for Symington, and Skundrich able to frame it for strike 3.
It was. It's a big pitch for a right-hander to go inside on a left-handed batter.
Here's a bunt for Bryce Bonner. Williams, a little bit of confusion with his pitcher, and a bunt single for Bryce Bonner. He is on for the first time. Second hit by Purdue.
And a great job of laying the bunt down there by Bonner. We saw Williams, matter of fact, in right field here on Wednesday, and so maybe a little miscommunication between him and Cowan, but a great place bunt. Bonner's getting out of the box. That's going to be a tough bang-bang play either way.
Bonner with the hit, continuing a red-hot start. It's his 4th hit of the season. Now Mason Gavre comes up off to a 143 clip. And Gavre wasting no time, tipping that into the mid of Skundrich. This Purdue offense last season, they were last in home runs in conference play, not their strength, hitting the long ball. But it was really the pitching staff that was on the better end of things, 4.4 ERA. And it's interesting because we bring up these numbers, and now with a new season, a new head coach, you almost can clean the slate. How does that translate from one year to the next?
Well, I think Goff's going to help them put things in perspective. They're not going to be a team that lives and dies by the long ball. He's going to help them produce runs, as we see with Bonner laying down the drag bunt, getting runners on, causing a little havoc on the bases, and hoping you can poke one in, bring some runs around, and pitch the ball well, and that's going to be their success.
Mason Gavre, the shortstop today. He's coming from Paradise Valley Community College out in Arizona. He's keeping tabs on Bonner in the running game. Worth noting that Greg Goff in his 3rd year at Campbell in 2010. Campbell's led the country in stolen bases, so there is a background in being aggressive on the backs. And Cowan certainly knows it, keeping tabs on Bonner over at first.
And that's something that's going to help them win. The more havoc they can cause at first, second, whenever these runners are on base, the more it's going to affect Cowan and the amount of time he's able to focus on delivering a quality pitch.
0-2 to Mason Gavre, who lays off the fastball. Challenge here, power arm versus a power-heavy offense in these first 2 innings. Mason's brother, Mark, plays college baseball at New Mexico for the Lobos. Little bloodline of collegiate baseball. And now Mason gets hit by the pitch. First and second here with 1 out.
And that pitch just got away from Cowan there, trying to go for the strikeout, overthrow the slider. Doesn't quite get it out in front enough. It backs up on him and clips him just in the leg. Looks like it just does grab him. Wasn't able to bring it back across the plate in time.
Campbell last year finished 4th in hit by pitches in the country. Purdue, they got hit 60 times in just under 60 games, about 1 per contest. So something to keep an eye on early in this one. And now Evan Albrecht comes up. Evan goes after the first pitch. Looping fly ball, and it drops in for a hit. Coming around third is Bonner to score. RBI single puts Purdue ahead 2-0.
Good things happen when you swing the bat. And right there, Evan Albrecht is swinging early. He gets a fastball. Doesn't necessarily get as much of it as he would like, but is able to just reach his hands out, hit a weak flare over the right side. It drops in, and you're going to take RBIs any way you can get them.
It all got started with a bunt single by Bryce Bonner. He comes around to score. And now Tyler Robinson, the new pitching coach for Campbell, having a conversation here with Cowan, who was essentially unhittable in his last start, facing his first sense of adversity here on the season. What is Robinson trying to do in this situation?
He's just trying to calm him down. He knows that this game's far from over. They're chasing 2 here, with 1 out and a couple runners on first and second. They're a ground ball away from getting out of this inning. So he's just trying to convince them, hey, bear down, let's stay in the moment and get our offense up. We know how dangerous they are.
One out here for Purdue, trying to continue an excellent weekend offensively. In fact, in every game, they scored at least 6 runs in that Hofstra series to open up the year in Alexander Field up in West Lafayette. So 1 out now for Tyler Powers. He's off to a great start. 429 at the plate in the first week. And Powers on a bunt, testing Williams, keeps it in fair territory, across his body and not in time. Powers showing off the speed, and the bases are loaded for Purdue.
And this is something you're going to see from a Greg Goff offense right there. They're going to create havoc. They're going to cause things to happen and put pressure on the defense. And really a great job of Powers. That ball is almost going foul, but Zach Williams has no choice but to come up, try to make a play. Not able to make it in time as he just steps across in time to beat it out.
Out or safe, you be the judge, Cole.
I think he beat it by just a step. It's bang-bang either way, but anytime it's that close, they're going to probably give it to the runner.
Back to the top of the order, and Skylar Hunter, who ripped a shot to third his first time up. Now a back pick, or at least thought of it, to second. Kind of surprised their Cowan didn't unleash. Skylar Hunter has hit 10 or more doubles in 2 straight seasons. Big piece of this order. The Hood River, Oregon product in his senior season. And Hunter takes a fastball for strike 1. Greg Goff offenses, at least the last couple of seasons at Alabama, and of course with his days at Louisiana Tech, among the best in the country in hit by pitches, in runs scored, and in bunts. We've seen a lot of that here in the first 2 innings.
He knows what it takes to compete at a high level, and anywhere he's gone, he's been able to replicate his success, and it's because his offense is proven to work. If you put pressure on defenses, especially at the college level, they will break eventually, and he just continues to pour it on year after year.
You see Greg Goff there over at third, won 224 games as the head coach at Campbell, starting in 2008. Here he is a decade later, and the Purdue Boilermakers up 2-0 in this second inning, causing some trouble for Campbell's right-handed ace in Cam Cowan. Remember, he only gave up 3 hits in his first start, already 4 here in this one, and some runners mounting in this top of the second. That fastball is called strike 3, and Cowan catches the corner for out number 2.
And a great bounce-back pitch there by Cowan. He's been a little erratic. He's had a couple big misses, but here with the bases loaded, able to dial up the fastball as he just powers into it and drives it on the outside corner. Really a great pitcher's pitch with a 1-2 count, picks up the strikeout.
Brian Kennedy rings up Hunter, and that is now 4 strikeouts for Cowan, but also 4 hits allowed. Big spot for Kyle LaPlante, who has the second best average on the team at .375. And LaPlante watches a slider for strike 1. Big spot for Purdue, trying to add some major insurance on the board in these early innings. And quickly ahead, 0-2.
And back-to-back breaking balls there for Cowan. Maybe he is starting to catch a little bit of feel. We haven't seen him go to the off-speed this early, but able to get both of them over for strikes really opens it up with an 0-2 count.
The 0-2 is whiffed, but it gets away. Skundrich only has to touch the plate and wisely collects himself for the strikeout. We go to the bottom of the second. Purdue adds 1 more, 2-0 the lead through 1.5.
Music make you lose control.
Rock a showstopper, beats get it crunk and wired. Wave your hands, scream loud. Everybody here get it out of control.
We do this every day for men suffering from prostate cancer. The Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute treats several types of cancers: breast, lung, prostate, head and neck, ocular, GI, brain and spine, pediatric. There are no hospital stays with proton beam radiation. The beam travels right to the affected area and stops, which leads to fewer side effects. Call us now. It could make all the difference.
Live your life. Let the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute fight your cancer.
Welcome back here to Jim Perry Stadium. You see Campbell's pitching coach, Chris Marks. And there's Greg Goff, the head coach for Purdue. Goff, who spent 6 years at Campbell, really built this program up to an NCAA tournament berth. I know, Cole, when you were recruited initially, Goff was a huge part of your commitment to Campbell. What about Greg Goff makes him a fantastic coach?
Well, it's just his mindset and the way he goes about the game. He's intense, he's competitive, he's everything you want to play for from the in the form that, you know, he's going to compete, he's going to put you in a chance to win, and he's going to put you in big games and big opportunities. So he really brings that to the field. We've seen it here, and we'll continue to see it more with Purdue.
Zach Williams to lead off this bottom of the second. And Williams trying to figure out what has been a nice start from Trent Johnson so far. 3 up and 3 down. 3 balls put in play, all hit pretty hard, but this Purdue defense has been ready to play.
They have, and Trent Johnson's been able to go out and execute his game plan.
Williams smokes one out to center. Here's Skylar Hunter with room in front of the track and allowed out number 1.
And another hard hit ball there from Zach Williams. We saw the deep fly ball to end the inning with Colin Wolfe, and you know, the ball's not going to fly. It's a little bit chilly, and Zach Williams has a lot of power, is able to put the barrel on the ball and drive one up to deep center, but it's a little chilly. Ball's not carrying here today.
1 out now for Campbell's home run threat from this week. Connor Denning, a switch hitter who banged one out of the park from the right side on Wednesday. And takes all the way here to work ahead, 1-0. This Campbell offense this past season in 2019, 52 home runs. That was among the best in the Big South. Now trying to find some production here with 4 major starters gone, and a player like Denning they feel confident can help fit that role.
Well, we saw the big swing here the other night against ECU, so he's definitely got it in his system. A guy that's able to hit from both sides of the plate can create a unique matchup for this offense, and I agree with Coach Hare. I like what I've seen.
That's in there for a strike as Johnson crawling his way back here to Connor Denning, off to a 250 start. Here's the junior coming home to the plate and missing outside, 3-1. Johnson led in Big Ten play, the best batting average against and second best ERA, so he's finished off the end of his year strong. Trying to bounce back from a tough outing against Hofstra this past weekend. And Denning chops this in the field of play, but it's called foul. I believe it hit his foot, so the at-bat moves full.
And Denning tried to jump all over the fastball in the inner half right there. Did just chop it off his foot, but big at bat here for Johnson. He had a couple games get away from him. Had the first game of the year get away from him a little bit with walks, so it's important here. Put your hitters away. You have a lead, and continue to pound the Campbell offense.
Campbell's offense coming off a 7-run, 10-hit performance on Wednesday. Now trying to beat the elements and beat a good pitcher in Trent Johnson. The 3-2, drilled out to center. Very playable for Hunter. And 2 quick outs by the Purdue center fielder.
And a good job by Connor Denning. Not the result he's going to want with the fly out to center field, but saw a couple pitches, work the count, and right here gets a fastball just a bit under it. Doesn't hit it quite as well as he could have, and ends up a fly out to Skylar Hunter out there, who's tracked down a couple now.
Skylar Hunter, a multi-year starter in the outfield. Big territory to cover here at Jim Perry Stadium. So 2 outs for Matt Christian. And the senior watches a bouncing strike, but called ball 1. I wish they'd allow that in the big league level, or even in the college level as well.
Well, I think it's hard enough to hit. There's no chance I could hang on that.
Here with Cole Hallam, a former pitcher and hitter at Campbell, just graduated 3 years ago. And a 1-1 count to Christian. Matt Christian, a home run and 3 RBI early in the year. He started every game after being limited last season to about 25 games. Now off the end of his bat, and swing goes foul. So 1-2.
And it's looking like Trent Johnson's found some comfort going to that breaking ball. We've seen it a lot more this inning than we have, prior. So it's great when it's good. It's good. Just got to make sure it's effective with 2 strikes. You don't leave something out over the middle.
Trent Johnson trying to continue what has been a Nearly perfect outing this far. The 1-2. Christian right back to us, and the at-bat continues. Matt Christian had power, 5 home runs last year, 4 of those coming right here at Jim Perry Stadium. The question with him has seemingly been consistency and average. He digs in now with a 250 clip, fresh off a 2-hit night on Wednesday against ECU. Johnson wants a 1-2-3 inning, and Christian will spoon one out of play. That bat continues.
That was the breaking ball there from Johnson. Maybe left it out over the plate a little bit more with the dangerous hitter and Christian up, but he gets away with it. Still going back at Christian with a 1-2 count. See if he can execute this pitch here.
Matt Christian, the former high school quarterback. And now a battle here against Trent Johnson, the junior right-hander. Johnson to the heat, and the count is even. Trent Johnson touches 86 to 88 with his fastball, but his breaking ball has been effective today. Big reason why he's kept these Campbell hitters off balance through an inning and 2/3. The 2-2. Christian high into the air. Drifting back is Nissel. He is at the warning track. That ball is out of here. Second home run of the season for Matt Christian. And Campbell's on the board in the bottom of the second.
And a great piece of hitting there by Christian. We talked about him working the count, trying to become more consistent. Doesn't give his bat away, fouls off some tough pitches, and is finally able to capitalize on a mistake. And he's so big and strong, he gets that fastball up in the zone and just drives it well out over the wall. Big poke here for him.
First home run at home for Matt Christian. This Campbell offense picking up where they left off on Wednesday night. And now back to a 1-run ball game for Grant Harris. Grant started over 40 games last year in the outfield, but with this start tonight, it is just his second. And Harris way out in front of the 86-mile-an-hour pitch, 1-1. So Trent Johnson gives up the home run, his first dinger allowed this year. There's been some hard-hit balls, and now Campbell's starting to make them pay.
There has, and Johnson's not a power pitcher right there. He leaves the fastball up in the zone. He's not a guy that's going to get away with as many mistakes.
This fly ball is going to stay in the park for Nissel, and there's out number 3. Not before Matt Christian puts one on the board for Campbell. We go to the third, 2-1, our score.
Purdue leads it 2-1 after 2.
You're looking at Gaylord the Camel, the mascot of the Fighting Camels here in Bowie's Creek. And right now, at the top of the third, Purdue leads by 1. First ever matchup between these programs. We have seen power on full display, 2 home runs, and a very swole-looking camel, of all things. What have you thought about some of the power production here in these first 2 innings?
I've been impressed by both sides. Everybody knows that this ballpark plays exceptionally big, especially early on in the season. We've seen a home run to right field, and we've seen a home run to left. It kind of just shows you how far these teams have come. They can hit a ball out at any time, and that's what we've seen.
That power production starts right here with Zach Fazia, who wasted no time in the first inning for Purdue.
Yeah, really a great job of getting his pitch. Didn't give anything away. Got a fastball he could hammer, elevates it just enough to hit it out of the yard and really spark his offense.
First home run of the season for the Purdue catcher. And in the game with 2 home runs, we've seen plenty of offense, 2-1 thus far. How about Cam Cowan kind of purposely diving a pitch away? He knew how dangerous Faja could be.
This is going to be a big at bat for Cowan here to get back in and prove who he is, that he can go out and attack any hitter and put him away. So if he can convert here, I think he's got a good chance to stay in the ballgame for a while.
That ball hits Faja, and he's on to lead off this top of the third. So think about Purdue, 60 hit by pitches this past season. Already in a short period of time, they have 9 of them here in 2020.
And they could have a few more today, as we see the one there against Fascia, because Cowan's trying to throw inside to the left-handed hitters, and that's not an easy pitch for a right-handed pitcher to execute, and we've seen a couple get away from him, and that's the second instance of that being a hit by pitch.
Ben Nissel watches a breaking ball to open up his second at-bat. It's kind of been a start of peaks and valleys for Cowan so far. Already 5 strikeouts, but also 4 hits and a couple of hit batters as well.
He's got the stuff, and everybody in the ballpark knows that he's got the stuff, but when he doesn't execute, he falls behind in counts.
Ground ball from Nissel, past the glove of Wolf. And a single for Ben Nissel, his first hit of the night. 2 on with nobody out for Purdue.
And Nissel does a great job of getting the breaking ball out over the plate, doesn't try to do too much, pokes it through the 6 hole, able to move a runner, 2 guys on here. They got something cooking again.
Purdue already 5 hits in this ball game. Let's not forget the Boilermakers in their first series. They picked up 33 hits. That's 9 a game. This team could certainly hit it early in the year. Miles Symington, a big swing himself as he falls behind 0-1. I do like the aggressive approach of Greg Goff's club, especially when you're facing a starter who had 15 punch-outs his last time out.
Well, they know their best chance to get to him is to get to him early, but the big pitch that Cowan hasn't been able to find is the changeup, and right now he really doesn't have a weapon at all for the left-handed hitters.
Now a back pick to second. Wolf couldn't hang on to it, and I'm not sure if he applied the tag either, so back to first and second. Purdue staying station to station.
Skundress being pretty aggressive, firing one down. I like that they're trying to return the tide that this offense of Purdue is applying to them.
Zach Faja drawing plenty of attention at second as that fastball is called inside. And now 2-1 to Symington. Miles hit .363 this past year at Heartland Junior College. Now inserted right into the lineup in his junior season, first year with Purdue. Runners bluff on the pitch, and Symington works ahead 3-1.
And not a count here that Cowan wants to have. Again, with the left-handed hitter in Symington, he's fallen behind in the count 3-1. It would be ideally a changeup count if you had confidence in it, but everybody in the park knows he's probably going to throw a fastball here. Got to make sure it's located well. You might get yourself in a little bit more trouble.
Symington embracing the element, sticking out that tongue, showing his confidence at the plate. And on the 3-1, rips one foul to move the count full.
A little power on power there. Cowan reared back and let it go, and Symington let the swing go as well, trying to put a couple more runs up on the board.
It's worth noting in West Lafayette today it's 36 degrees. Right now in Bowie's Creek it's also 36, so similar weather in 2 towns very far apart. The 3-2 is ripped towards the Campbell dugout. Nice battle here from Symington. So 2-1, a home run for each squad thus far. It's been a big bulk of the offense. Had a little delay there, checking on some of the Campbell staff in the dugout. The old heat-seeking missile.
Those could be a bit scary the way they come off the bat.
Another 3-2 from Cowan. Again fouled off. And you're right, Cole. Symington's sitting on that fastball.
He knows what's coming. Cowan hasn't been able to go to the changeup. The breaking ball hasn't been great, and it hasn't been something he's confident in trying to back foot a left-handed hitter with. So he's going to try to repeat and throw, a safe breaking ball out over the plate, or maybe try to power a fastball in there. But Symington knows what's going to come.
Another 3-2. And Symington wins the battle. A 9-pitch at bat, and he is pumped up on his way to first. The bases are loaded. Still nobody out for Purdue.
And a really fine at bat there from Symington. really put himself in a good position to be successful, didn't give anything away. At this point in the game, a walk is as good as a hit. He's loaded the bases for his team. With Bonner coming up, he's got a couple chances for an RBI.
This Purdue offense picking up where they left off in West Lafayette. Nobody out now for Bryce Bonner, who laid down a bunt single his first time up. And Bonner gets hit on the elbow pad. Down to first he goes. The run is in, and Purdue leads 3-1.
And they're
the third batter that Cowan has hit as well.
They're capitalizing on everything. Cowan's, we saw a walk early on, lead to a run, and here we've got a hit by pitch, a slider hung up over there, clips Bonner's elbow guard, picks up another RBI that was given to him freely. The situation's starting to get a little bit worse for Campbell. They need to be careful.
We talked about the relationship of these two coaching staffs. It sort of feels like today Purdue has been the aggressor from an emotional and energy standpoint.
They have. Their hitters have really turned the tide on Cowan and started to attack him. They've jumped on fastball early. They've taken a lot of his arsenal away from him, and Cowan's been a little bit more reactionary than I think they would like.
Cowan in this start does have 5 strikeouts, but also a walk and now 3 hit batters, so kind of the best of both worlds, and Purdue's taking advantage.
And we've seen a couple of those hit by pitches on breaking balls right there. He left it out, arm side, big miss when your breaking ball's not working, and one on a fastball trying to be aggressive that you can live with. But when they start to add up and you give away 3-4 free opportunities, you put yourself in some tough situations.
Bases are still loaded, and searching for answers here is Cam Cowan. Campbell's ace on the campaign, coming off a 15 strikeout performance. Here's a drive from Gavray, playable in the air, denting the catch. Runners hold, and there's out number 1.
And it looked like it was a good decision there for Nissel to stay at third. We saw him bluff a little bit, but Denning out there playing left field, got a great read on the baseball. Off the bat, he can tell it's hit off the end, stays put, comes in charging, and really he's got a great throwing arm, puts it right on the money, holds the run at third base.
Would have been out by a country mile, as they say down here in Bowie's Creek. So 1 out for Evan Albrecht, productive at the plate his first time. He had an RBI single. Helped Purdue out jump up 2-1. One thing we've also noticed, the Boilermakers are wasting no time in the box. First pitch swings, now in 4-5 straight at bats, really being aggressive.
And that's good coaching. That starts with your scattering report, and it starts with your approach. And what they've done is they've essentially figured out that Cowan cannot throw the changeup. He can't throw the breaking ball. They've turned him into a one-pitch guy, and they've really been getting after him.
1-1 to Albrecht, the West Bend, Wisconsin product, who already has 6 RBI. Right now is best on the club. Now a chance to break this game open. Cowan's slider is bodied up by Skundrich, the catcher, behind the dish. So on one hand, with the use of wristbands and relaying signs, there's not much of a threat to steal an opposing signal. On the other, it's the mental aspect of knowing the tendencies of your former pitching coach right across the dugout.
It is, and they know each other so well that it's all about execution. We talked about it a little bit in pregame, but they know exactly what the other's going to do. They're going to bunt. They're going to force pressure. The pitchers are going to come after hitters, try to get after them early, and we've seen that early. We've seen that so far today. We'll see who can continue to do it throughout the whole 9.
Especially when we consider some of the Houston Astros scandals with sign stealing. Boy, the mental side is playing a factor today as Cowan locates his heater for strike 2. A Purdue club that's been hit by 3 pitches. They've jumped on Cowan early, 3 runs on 5 hits. Critical spot for the Campbell right-hander in this situation.
It is, and everybody knows he's capable of a complete game shutout, but what makes great pitchers great is the ability to keep their team in the ballgame and try to convert wins on days you don't have your best stuff.
Called low for ball 4, and Albrecht, the RBI walk. Second run of the inning comes in Nissel, and Purdue now a 4 spot on the scoreboard.
And a great take there. Tough pitch there from Cowan. It's a breaking ball low in the zone with the full count. It's pretty bold pitch call. He's looking to get out of the inning, but just a tick low forces in another run.
Purdue on the season, 20 walks in the first 5 games, a patient offense. And that's one area, if you're looking at this from an outside perspective, Purdue last year had a major tick down in wins from 45 to 20. The offense took a major step back. This type of approach could play some huge dividends come Big Ten conference play starting here in the beginning of March as Tyler Powers takes a strike.
It will, and it's going to take pressure off all these hitters that are trying to do too much and drive the ball in the gap. Let's have good at-bats. Let's take, quality pitches. Let's put good swings on the pitches that we want to hit, and good things will come to us because we're handling the game the right way.
This drive will stay in the park for Grant Harris. Symington tags from third. He scores, and the throw into second makes it 5-1 on the sac fly. First RBI of the year for Powers.
And Powers knew exactly what his job was there. Didn't try to do too much. Falls right into their approach, gets a ball he can elevate. And, with the bases loaded and one out, that's exactly what you're looking for. Hits it out to right field. Really no chance out there for Grant Harris. Has to throw it into second, limit the damage, and we got 2 outs here and a couple runs across.
How about Purdue coming here on the road in the Campbell Invitational, jumping on Cam Cowan, who went off a 8-inning start, 15 strikeouts. As Skylar Hunter shoots one out of play. Even there, a little run and hit action called as Greg Goff is showing all the cards in these first 3 innings.
Well, everybody knows he's aggressive. He continues to show that. They've already put up 3 runs this inning, got a first and third situation here with 2 outs. Why not hit and run, put a little movement in play, see if we can cause another unforced error, move some people around, and open something up.
Keeping tabs on this Campbell running game early and often in this inning. Already 3 runs in the third, but keep in mind just 1 hit. A couple of hit batters and walks have done the damage for Purdue. Hunter on the 0-1 late with the heater, and he's quickly down 0-2. Skylar Hunter, member of the Big Ten All-Tournament team 2 years ago. He went 8 for 17 that weekend down in Omaha, Nebraska. Kind of a neat preview of the big tournament a few weeks later as Hunter singles it underneath the glove of Cowan. 1 run is in. Moving his way to third is Albrecht. And Purdue is cooking a 4th spot in this 3rd inning.
Good things happen when you hit with runners on base. There's a lot of motion going on, a lot of things that can go wrong for the defense, and Skylar Hunter does a great job there. Not trying to do too much, gets his fastball, punches it up the middle, and continues upon the good stretch. And right there, just simplify the at-bat, take your RBI, moves the runner from first to third, recreate the situation here, pass the torch to the next guy.
And Tyler Robinson points out to his bullpen. This might be it for Cam Cowan, the starter who went 8 1/3 his first time out. His night is done here in the 3rd. We're going to go to break on ESPN+. Purdue up 5-1, forcing the hand of this Campbell bullpen. More action after this from Jim Perry Stadium.
Geico makes it easy to get help when I need it. With licensed agents available 24/7, it's not just easy. It's having Jerome Bettis on your flag football team easy. Go get him, Bus!
Ooh. Come on, Bus. Come on. Hey, wait. I'm gonna get the flag. I got your flag, man. I got your flag.
It's Geico Easy, with licensed agents available 24/7.
49-0.
Music make you lose control.
Rock a showstopper, beats get it crunk and wired. Wave your hands, scream loud. Everybody here get it out of control.
Geico makes it easy to get help when I need it. With licensed agents available 24/7, it's not just easy. It's having Jerome Bettis on your flag football team easy. Go get him, Bus!
Ooh. Come on, Bus. Come on. Hey, wait. I'm gonna get the flag. I got your flag, man. I got your flag.
It's Geico Easy, with licensed agents available 24/7.
49-0.
Music make you lose
wired. Wave your hands, scream louder. Everybody here get it out of control.
New pitcher is Brendan Wright, the redshirt freshman out of Holly Springs, making his second appearance for Campbell. And the umpire says that baseball's good to go. So Bright comes in to replace Cam Cowan. Second outing for the redshirt freshman and a big spot with already 4 runs in this third inning.
It is. It's a huge spot. This is a huge at bat here. He's got to get an out. He's got to get back in there. They're already chasing 5 early on in the game. If many more runs come across, it's going to start to feel like it's a bit out of hand. And in the first day of a tournament, not really the foot you want to get off. So he needs to pitch a couple innings to kind of produce a good start, save his bullpen.
Wright 2 years ago was a top 25 right-handed pitcher coming out of the state of North Carolina. Now in his first career home outing. Right with the slider, and Kyle LaPlante coming up for his third AB, wanting to shake off the rust of 2 strikeouts against Cowan, who exits after 2 2/3 innings of work. Shortest start for a Campbell opener here this year. Much to the credit of what Purdue's able to do at the plate. Runner off from first. That's in for a strike. The tag is applied. Arias able to tag out. The runner to go into second. And that ends the inning. Purdue scores 4 in the third. A 6-1 lead through 2.5.
Geico makes it easy to get help when I need it. With licensed agents available 24/7, it's not just easy. It's having Jerome Bettis on your flag football team easy. Go get him, Bus!
Ooh. Come on, Bus. Come on. Hey, wait. I'm gonna get the flag. I got your flag, man. I got your flag.
It's Geico Easy, with licensed agents available 24/7.
49-0.
Music make you lose control.
Rock a showstopper, beats get it crunk and wired. Wave your hands, scream louder. Everybody here get it out of control.
Some snow this morning in Bowie's Creek. First snow of the winter. I know the folks in West Lafayette will laugh when we say that, but it has not been very cold this winter. 6-1, Purdue rolling through 2.5 innings thanks to a very patient Boilermakers offense. So we mentioned coming in the familiarity of these 2 coaching staffs. Greg Goff, who started his career at Campbell, hired Justin Hare out from Oklahoma, brought him out here as an assistant. Now in his 6th year as the head coach, really following in Greg Goff's footsteps these last decade here at Campbell.
He has. Coach Hare's done such a great job. Goff got the program started, really put it onto a national stage with regionals, and Hare's done a great job of taking them back there and really continuing to build the program, turn it into something to be proud of. And you look around, it's a beautiful ballpark. The amount of stuff he's been able to accomplish is truly amazing.
And sporting the new black tops today with the orange trim. Black on black. It's interesting. I think I kind of like it.
It's a unique look. You don't see it every day, but they do look pretty sharp.
Waiting on Marcus Skundrich to sneak into our screen. There he is. Senior catcher out of Arizona, off to a .417 clip. Skundrich, an impressive performance on Wednesday night. 2 for 3 with a couple of runs, and he helped steal home with a little double steal action. That's called inside. 2-0 from Trent Johnson, who's given up the home run, otherwise has been perfect on the mound. No strikeouts, but letting his defense go to work.
It's been pretty smooth sailing, but with the long inning there in the top of the third, you wonder if that's going to affect him in the cold weather.
Ground ball to third, scooped up by LaPlante. And he guns out Skundrich for out number 1.
Stays true, stays back in the zone, puts Skundrich away early. This is exactly the kind of inning he's looking to bounce back with. He's been so effective with the fastball. Not a power guy, but staying here at the bottom of the zone, he's going to create a lot of ground balls, and right there induces the pulled ground ball to third base. Gets Skundrich out to start the inning.
9-1-2 coming up in this Campbell order. It's A.J. Ricka stepping in. Let's not discredit the fact Purdue, when leading after 4 innings this year, long way to go. They finished undefeated, 12-0 when jumping out early. Now only 20 wins for the Boilermakers last year, but a lot of that success credited to their starting pitching. Ricka works ahead. The Florida native bundled up for a cold night. And now the count is even.
Ricka's he's off to a great start here this season, hitting .429. He's done a great job of hitting his pitches, taking pitches out of the zone. So see if he can continue that success here, try to start this Campbell offense up.
Did not like that call per se as the count moves to 1-2. Trying to get a feel of Brian Kennedy's strike zone tonight. As now Johnson up ahead. He's retired 2 in a row.
And either way, that's going to be a good take for Ricka there, taking the ball off the plate. It may get called a strike. You may not like it, but it's not a pitch you're going to be able to, drive into the gap, drive through the infield to pick up a hit.
The 1-2 is poked to the left side. Albrecht deep in the hole, and a beautiful throw to first. 2 outs by this Purdue defense.
And Trent Johnson continues to pound the strike zone right there, goes back to the fastball. Not much A.J. Ricka can do with it with 2 strikes, kind of in defense mode. Cast the hands over there, and Albrecht, really a great play of going to this backhand side, delivering a strike over there to first base to gun down the speedy Ricka.
2 outs now for Waldy Arias. Ripped one to third his first time up. He's got a hit in all but 1 game this year. And Trent Johnson is attacking the zone with his fastball today.
And that pitch right there, I think, is the key for this Campbell offense. We've seen a lot of take on the first pitch fastball, allowing Trent Johnson to get ahead. That's a pitch that's right over the middle of the plate. Love to see him jump all over it and drive something.
Johnson moved into the Friday night role for Purdue in the final weekend of April last year. And when taking over that role from the bullpen, he was nearly untouchable in his last 5 starts. Picked up 3 wins, very productive.
It's not tough to see why. He's got a little bit of an unorthodox delivery. He's not a guy that's going to kill you with a bunch of power with the fastball in the upper 80s, but he does get it across early, gets it across often. He's able to go to that big breaking ball and put hitters away.
Johnson attacks the bottom of the zone for strike 2. He was on the all-freshman team 2 years ago in the Big Ten. Followed that up, no accolades postseason-wise, but one of the more effective pitchers, 73 strikeouts for the Boilermakers. And today he's pitching to contact, letting his defense go to work. Here's another example. Albrecht at short. And 1-2-3 for Purdue. We head to the 4th. Trent Johnson rolling. The Boilermakers up 5 on ESPN+. Tis the season for actual seasons. I know it's a turf field, but seeing snow is always an exciting thing, especially here in North Carolina. It doesn't snow too often. Purdue has put on an avalanche offense, 6-1 here through 3 innings of work. Forcing the starter, Cam Cowan, out of the game, and now Brendan Wright in for his first clean inning of relief.
And he came in and did a great job getting out of the jam last inning. It's going to be up to him to continue to provide damage control. Campbell doesn't want to go through too many arms, especially on a Friday night with couple other teams here this weekend that are going to try to get after them as well. So if he can extend this, save the majority of that bullpen, it will put Campbell in a better situation tomorrow and Sunday.
This is day one of the Campbell Invitational. The first game of the day was, would you say, iced out or snowed out?
Maybe a little bit of both.
So that game got pushed back to tomorrow morning. Purdue and Maine will get started at 10 o'clock. Here in the fourth, Kyle LaPlante has been busy at third base. Not as productive at the plate, 0 for 2, looking to get things going. LaPlante came in hitting .400 already with a double and a home run as he smacks this ball foul for strike one. LaPlante was a nice piece of this 2018 club that made it to the Chapel Hill Regional, won 45 games, their most in a decade. And Brendan Wright jams LaPlante. Colin Wolfe using those Oakleys to battle the sun, and he's got it for the first out.
Great job there by Brendan Wright, establishing the fastball, being able to have a little bit of command to throw it on the outside corner right there, coming back with it on the inside corner. And as he's pumping it in there, you're going to see here, it's just a little bit too much for them to get around on, and it forces a weak contact up the middle.
Which Wolfe, the converted shortstop, is able to make the play. Zach Fazia wasted no time his first at-bat, a home run off Cam Cowan. They kind of changed the tide of this whole game. This Cam was rolling, 2 quick outs, was up 2 strikes, and then a solo home run broke open the offense for Purdue today. Now a chance to bunt, that's a strike. Reason why, we'll show you in a second, but the defense so spread out. If Fazia gets this ball down, he's got an easy base hit.
He does, and I love the simplicity of it. He hits the home run early. You're expecting him to try and do something like that, and sees the openings in the infield, tries to lay down the bunt, and just pass the torch to the next guy on his team.
One and two, good breaking ball from Wright, who in his first appearance came in and pitched 2 1/3 against South Alabama. Productive, 2 strikeouts. And now in his second career outing, trying to pick up where Cam Cowan left off after being bumped out in the third. Ground ball, right to right, fitting. Tosses to first, and 2 quick outs.
And Wright's not going to throw exactly as hard as Cam Cowan, not as dangerous with the fastball, but he's shown early he's able to find that slider, command it to the left-handed hitters, and really throw it off to the back shoe, the back foot slider, and that's really going to keep him off his fastball, allow him to do some different things.
It's fascinating because Brendan Wright has what I'd call more of an infielder's glove. Kind of looks like a position player on the hill, and yet has been very natural delivering. A pitcher by trade, of course, but Cole, you went both ways in your career as a hitter and pitcher at Campbell. How are you able to settle in and clear the mindset?
Well, that's the biggest part of it is mental. You have to just try to separate one from the other. If you're having a bad day offensively, you have to see it as a new opportunity for you to go out and be successful on the mound, and vice versa. The place where people tend to get in trouble is when they let one carry over the other, and you see it a lot with fielders as well that have bad at bats and take their bad mindset out to the field, make an error, something like that. So really, if you can just break up the game into different pieces, that's going to give you the best chance to be successful.
2-0 count to Ben Nissel, who sends a missile off the backstop. Alliterations times 2 for me in this inning. Cole, nothing?
Nothing for me.
You're not much alliteration guy?
Not much.
Here with the former All-American athletically, Cole Hallam. Evan Budrovich here with you on ESPN+. Game 1 of the Campbell Invitational, and Ben Nissel, the left fielder for Purdue, is up on the count 3-1. Nissel and then Symington trying to get things rolling here in this top of the fourth against Brendan Wright. And Nissel out in front of the breaking ball, a full count coming up.
And Wright put a little extra on that one, tipping out the clock at 91 miles an hour. He knew, Nissel knew what was coming, juiced up the fastball a little bit, snuck one by him to even the count up, or put the count to full.
3-2 from Wright is fouled off. Nissel riding a 3-game hit streak. Picked up a base hit back in the third and hanging around here in the fourth. Nissel, in fact, 56 hits last year. Second on the team in hits and RBI. Very productive in the heart of this lineup for Greg Goff's club. Now hanging around 3-2. Skies one back behind the plate. Skundrich trying to find room, and he's got it. Campbell catcher squeezes the baseball to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Purdue hanging on 6-1 ahead. Campbell to the plate next on ESPN+.
Musco Lighting. We make it happen.
Bon boy.
Bon boy.
She's too good. Brilliant.
Bon boy!
Discover the new language of travel. Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards, reimagined.
This Big South broadcast is brought to you in part by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit Geico.com today. And Sunbelt Rentals. We have equipment for that.
Trent Johnson back to work, the junior academic All-Big Ten performer, working with a 6-1 lead. And Johnson and this Purdue pitching staff, under the guidance of the former Campbell pitching coach, Chris Marks, now working a very impressive start, limiting runs on the board, just a solo home run by Matt Christian. Does that play a factor at all with a pitching coach who knows this lineup so well as he faces Campbell here a couple months later?
Well, you'd like to think he's kind of got the inside note on the scouting report, and so far that's what we've seen. He's attacked these hitters in different ways, and Trent Johnson's done a great job of executing that game plan and being able to maneuver his pitches throughout the zone. So I'd have to believe it does. Coach Marks has coached a lot of these guys, and he's recruited probably the majority, so he knows what they're able to do and kind of try and expose their weaknesses.
Spencer Packer digging in. Led the Big South in doubles last year with 20. This season, Packard has just one hit. He'd love to break out of a little bit of a funk. That 1-1 slider is called low. Packard ahead. Trent Johnson only started 5 games last year, all in the back end of the season, making his second start after going 2 2/3 last weekend against Hofstra. Packard at inside out, fly ball to left. Long run for Nissel, and he can't get there. And even in short foul territory, a lot of ground to cover on that one.
There's quite a bit. Nissel it looked like he was shaded over a little bit towards the 368 sign in left center with the power that Packard has, trying to pull the ball, to the right side, flares one back down the line. It's a tough catch for him and a lot of ground to cover. You're exactly right.
Certainly February baseball, when every breath comes with a bit of cloud of dust with it, really builds a certain type of intensity in a player. And I know teams like Maine and Villanova are very used to this type of weather, but a little bit different down here in North Carolina. As the 2-2 is rolled up the first baseline, that stays fair. And applying the touch of the foot is Mason Gavray over at first for out number 1.
Tough start continues for Packard right there, having to hit a breaking ball with 2 strikes on his back foot, and really he lost that at bat when he missed the fastball out over the plate. Was just a tick late, and it really puts him in a tough situation to succeed. Right here gets the breaking ball. That's a tough pitch for a lefty to defend. Executed perfectly by Johnson, able to clean up the first guy of the inning.
5 straight retired by Trent Johnson. Now to face Colin Wolfe. While Johnson has not blown any hitter away with a punch out so far, he has forced playable contact. Wolfe hit one to the base of the wall and left his first time up. And the lone run for Campbell is a solo shot. As Wolfe's late on the heater, 1-1.
And that's the pitch that Campbell hasn't been very aggressive on. They've taken the fastball early. They've been behind in counts. If they want to get back in this ball game, they need to start jumping on Johnson, trying to pound the fastball, force him to beat him with the breaking ball, and that could kind of change the tide of the game for them a bit.
Johnson's fastball tattooed to right. Symington with room, up against the snow, and a wintry catch for out number 2.
And another out for Campbell, but a better at bat there for Wolf and this Campbell offense. They need to jump on the fastball right there. Wolf does a good job, doesn't get the result he wants, but doesn't miss the fastball, tattoos it out to right field. Symington's able to track it down, but you got to feel a little bit better when you're starting to make solid contact.
2 outs for Zach Williams, who ripped one to center his first time up, but in this playable ballpark at Jim Perry Stadium. Hunter was able to track it down, and now Williams falls behind. Trent Johnson coming off his shortest start as a Purdue full-time starter, 2 2/3 this past Friday. But here he is now sitting just over the 50-pitch mark and has gone through the lineup twice pretty effectively.
He's been very efficient. He's come at him with a fastball breaking ball mix, and right here to Williams you see a changeup that we haven't seen all game, so maybe he's got a little bit more in the tank as this thing wears on.
That ball gets away from the catcher, Fazia. Little kick save, if you will. It's 2-1. This Purdue pitching staff early in the year, now of course this is just 4 games, 6.25 ERA, but a back end of the bullpen that's been lights out. Starters have really had trouble in the first 4 games of the year.
And from that, Campbell would have to think that they need to beat him early.
As that ball plunks Williams, he's on with 2 outs.
Campbell's going to take what they can get, but they know they need to beat him early. Like you said, with the back-end bullpen being so shut down, those aren't guys you want to get to chasing a few runs in the game. And here being down 6-1, they got 2 or 3 innings before those guys start to come into this game and try to shut it down. So it's going to be up to them. They got 8 or 9 outs that they need to really take full advantage of.
A key reliever is Bo Hofstra, the closer. He had 3 innings, 2 saves against Hofstra, fittingly, over that weekend set. Connor Denning now with 2 outs. Looking to get this Campbell bat and offense rolling. They have just 1 hit. It's the solo home run by Christian. In this game, we have seen 4 hit-by pitches and 3 walks. Does weather play any impact in that?
You have to think so. I mean, it's cold. It's uncomfortable. To be honest, we've seen a lot more offense than I thought we would see with the temperatures the way they are. There's a little bit of a breeze and some shadows. It's by no means warm. So, yeah, I think weather's going to play a big impact, and it affects your grip on the ball as a pitcher as well. So you see a couple might maybe get away that wouldn't get away from them on a 70-degree day.
It's 36 right now with a wind chill of 29. Makes you appreciate the time in the broadcast booth with you, my friend.
I don't miss days like this as a player.
Evan Budrovich, along with Cole Hallam, the former All-American here at Campbell. Now, you were a utility All-American, if I recall, a closer and an offensive player.
That's correct.
Right now, it's been all Purdue from the start. Runs in each of the first 2 innings, and then a big 4 spot, forcing Cam Cowan out of the game. Meanwhile, Trent Johnson on the other side of the coin, he's been rolling. This ball off the plate, kicks to the backstop, and an easy advancement over to second goes Zach Williams. You know, when this turf field was first designed, there were a little bit of issues with that 3 years ago because the plate was a half-inch taller than the turf that was installed. That could have played a factor right there.
I remember that. We used to see balls hit the plate and kick up into the booth or over the booth. It was really kind of a unique thing. You hadn't seen it much. If you watch a bunch of baseball, it looks like they've got it a little bit better under control now.
I imagine you'd have to call that a wild pitch, though, correct?
Correct. Yeah, that ball bounced. It was a spiked fastball. It's definitely a wild pitch.
The 1-1 from Johnson nearly hits Denning, sneaks between his legs, and it's 2-1.
Denning's got himself in a good situation here with Williams on second base. They've got a runner in scoring position, 2 outs. This is their time. Close the gap a little bit. As a left-handed hitter, you should be sitting on fastball and trying to tee off on Johnson, send a message.
Trent Johnson finished last year top 5 at ERA in the Big Ten. He's got a nice lead working in the 4th. And Denning just late on the fastball, 2-2. This Purdue pitching staff led by Chris Marks, the former pitching coach at Campbell, his first year now at Purdue. His family flew back early in the week to meet some friends and also just live in their hometown for a couple of days and reacquainting themselves for this Campbell Invitational. The 2-2 is swung on and missed. Denning goes down. First strikeout for Johnson. He's through 4, and Purdue with a 5-run lead.
Your score after 4 complete. Purdue 6, Campbell 1.
Purdue off to a hot start. Zach Fazio the home run in the first inning, and the Boilermakers were cooking from there.
They've controlled the game on the mound. They've controlled it offensively. They've really been able to impose their will on Campbell, offensively and defensively, pitching as well. So they've controlled the game, and that's what's going to lead to the 6-1 lead.
Then in the second inning, an RBI single, bringing home Symington. And from there, Purdue, 2 hit-by pitches, even more walks, and that's what forced Cowan out of the game in the third.
Cowan got in trouble early, wasn't able to capitalize, had a couple walks here, a couple hit by pitches as you mentioned, and anytime you give a team as good as Purdue that many opportunities, they're going to capitalize. Right here you see the sac fly out to right field. There's no opportunities that they're letting go wasted.
The Purdue Boilermakers, their first trip to Bowie's Creek, but their third trip to North Carolina in 4 years. Comfortable with the surroundings and playing well here on the road. This is Miles Symington working ahead in the count against Brendan Wright. Those 3 trips, the UNC Regional 2 years ago, of course, and then played New Jersey Institute of Technology in a tournament out here in North Carolina. I always love in college basketball with those Thanksgiving tournaments. A team like Duke will go fly across the country to play, let's say, Davidson in the Maui Gym Invitational, something like that.
It's pretty neat to see these teams get out into a different environment, face some different faces, and see what they can do, and kind of presents a unique opportunity to spread their brand around the United States and show what they're all about, create new fans anywhere you go.
Purdue has actually faced Maine and Villanova each once in their history, never faced Campbell. It's a unique opportunity here in the Campbell Invitational as Symington smacks one foul. I'll pose the question to you, Cole. If you could add a more dynamic tournament name to this tournament, what would you entertain or what would you suggest?
I'm not sure. I'm not that creative. You have any ideas? Feel free to offer.
I might have gone with the Creek Classic. That's kind of a traditional one.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Here's a slider. Yes, he did go around, says third base umpire Cody Clark. And Brendan Wright scoops up his first strikeout in relief.
And a great job of Brendan Wright coming back with the fastball. He's able to even up the count to the left-handed hitter we saw Cam Cowan have so much trouble with. And, with 2 strikes, doesn't waste much time, bears down and goes straight to the slider, puts him away for the strikeout.
One out now for Bryce Bonner, who takes a strike. This Purdue lineup has collected runs in the heart of the order. All 6 of the runs from the middle 4 in the attack for Greg Goff's club. There's Bonner way out in front for strike 2. That said, the hits have been pretty staggered up and down the lineup. In fact, no player with more than 1 hit, and yet they've done a nice job being productive in these first 4 innings.
Well, we've seen a ton of balance from the Purdue offense. They've done a great job. You see the strikeout there, but other than that, they've done a great job of getting hit by pitches, taking walks, picking up hits, and really passing the torch. It's been a 1 through 9 effort for them, and that's tough to stop.
Brendan Wright, to his credit, 2 straight punch-outs here in relief. And all of a sudden, in his home debut, has looked up to the billing here thus far.
He's looked great. He's come in. He's had the fastball slider mix. Would love to see him be able to add a third pitch, make him even harder to hit. But he's done a great job of establishing what he's trying to do and implementing his game plan.
Mason Gavre watches the fastball, and now it sort of feels as if Campbell has settled down on the hill. What adjustments have Brendan Wright made to really pick up where Cowan could not?
Well, he's been able to throw different pitches for strikes. That's been the biggest difference for him and keep these hitters off balance.
The slider is poked shortly to Wolf, scoops it off the edge of his glove, over to first, and makes the play. Colin Wolf showing off his range. 1-2-3 inning for Wright. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th. Campbell down 5.
Fans every Sunday at the park is Tuesday.
Music make you lose control.
Rock a showstopper, beats get it crunk and wired. Wave your hands, scream loud. Everybody here get it out of control.
We do this every day for men suffering from prostate cancer. The Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute treats several types of cancers: breast, lung, prostate, head and neck, ocular, GI, brain and spine, pediatric. There are no hospital stays with proton beam radiation. The beam travels right to the affected area and stops, which leads to fewer side effects. Call us now. It could make all the difference.
Live your life. Let the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute fight your cancer.
This Big South broadcast is brought to you in part by Pepsi, that's what I like, Marriott, the official hotel partner of the Big South Conference, and Hercules Tires, ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com.
Geico is a proud sponsor of the Big South Conference. The best rates, book with Geico today. If you're a Big South alumni, you can save even more as well at BigSouthSports.com/Geico. So far, Purdue's been saving pitches. The Boilermakers starter Trent Johnson, 60 pitches in 4 innings, cruising to a nice 6-1 lead. And if you're Purdue coming down on the road, a quality start to open up this tournament.
That's exactly the foot they're looking to get started on. Trent Johnson's done a great job of pitching deep into this ball game. His job's far from over. The more guys in the bullpen that he's able to preserve for later on this weekend, the better position they'll put themselves in.
Matt Christian with the home run his first time up, rolls this ball foul to open up the bottom of the 5th. 2 home runs now for Christian, who also started his 2018 campaign, 2 home runs in his first 5 games. How does he avoid the slump that took place in his junior year?
Well, he needs to learn from the mistakes he made last year first and foremost and really control his approach. It's a good take there on the breaking ball. He's able to lay off those pitches, knowing that he is a power guy. He's not going to get things to hit all the time, but it's whether you can lay off and not give away at bat. So that's going to be big for him. If he can control his outcomes, more often than not, he's going to put himself in a good position.
Trent Johnson to another breaking ball, and he locates it 1-2. Justin Hare told us coming into the season he wants Christian to only swing for the fence or for extra bases before there's 2 strikes.
And he should know that off the bat. He's a power guy. He's a big body kid. Not everybody can hit the ball as hard and as far as he can.
This ball is high into the air. First baseman Gavre looking for it, running around, and makes the catch. Battling the sun, the wind, and the cold weather for out number 1.
It's a tough one to hang on to. A guy as strong as Christian hits it pretty high, but it's just another one he's let slip away a little bit. Hits a home run on the fastball early in the game. Right there, he's got to know that breaking ball is coming back to him. He should almost be sitting on it, ready and willing to give up the fastball to try to pound it, something else into the gap or over the wall.
Grant Harris up now with 1 out, searching for his first hit of the campaign. Harris patiently takes strike 1, coming off a 227 clip where he started 43 games. Now with a utility of outfielders for Campbell, more of a platoon look for Justin Hare's club this year. And Harris quietly falling behind 0-2.
That's a blessing for Coach Hare, and it goes to show you the depth that they feel they have with this Campbell team. Anytime you can play to a matchup, you're playing to your strength, you're making an aggressive play, putting him in the lineup.
3 pitches, 3 strikes. No, Harris fouled it off, so he'll stay alive at 0-2. Didn't make much contact, but enough to fight off that breaking ball from Johnson.
All it takes is just a tick of the bat, and you get to stay in the box. That's exactly what he's done.
Except if the catcher brings it in cleanly, correct?
Correct.
So 0-2 here to Harris. Trying to hang around in his second at-bat. Well, 4 pitches and a punch-out. Wasting no time as Johnson, his second K of the night.
We've only seen 2 changeups from Johnson here tonight. He's using them in big situations, and right there with Harris being down in the count, that's a great pitch to a left-handed hitter. Executes it to perfection, and he's able to start that changeup right over the heart of the plate and run it just off. That's a great pitch to a left-handed hitter picking up a K.
Trent Johnson with 73 strikeouts last year. That number, over the course of one season, Purdue's all-time single-season leader. Strikeouts per 9 innings, about 10 a game. He's been effective today forcing contact as Marcus Skundrich lays off for an even count. Because there really hasn't been the big punch-out numbers for Johnson. He's forced contact and given up just the 1 hit, the home run so far.
He's done a great job of getting ahead, and any strikeout pitcher is going to tell you have to be ahead in the count to strike people out. But what he's done is he's pitched around the zone. He's managed his pitch count, so he's able to pitch deeper into the game and force weak contact in doing so. Really a great job of mixing in a couple Ks when he needs them here and there, but forcing a lot of weak contact and continuing to attack the Campbell offense.
Marcus Skundrich, a ground out victim his first time, trying to overcome the elements, and a great start by Trent Johnson, the junior right-hander. To give you some perspective on how cold it is, you see the coaches and staff all bundled up in their hoodies and sweaters. This is the coldest game Campbell's played in 3 years.
It's chilly. I was walking around out there on the field, a little bit before the game, and even when the sun was out, it was a little too cold for me.
You only had one sweater on. That might be part of the equation. As the 3-1 to Skundrich misses low, a 5-pitch walk for the confident senior who's on for the 4th straight game.
And a good job by Skundrich there, just being able to continue the inning, wearing it out, continuing to see pitches, pass the torch to Ricca as a left-handed hitter.
Worth noting, only the first walk for Johnson today.
Really? Yeah, you gotta extend it early on, and they haven't done that. They've been behind in the count, and Skundrich is able to figure one out there, pass it to Ricca, try to get something going this inning. As we talked about with the late bullpen, these innings are starting to wear on.
The Purdue pitching staff last year, led by Johnson, ranked 6th in the Big Ten in strikeouts and walks, middle of the pack in both. Today, low on the strikeout numbers, but few mistakes as well. And that's why this Campbell offense that led the Big South in 8 different categories last year, pretty pedestrian start thus far.
It is, and you don't need strikeouts to win ball games. They're nice, especially in big situations with runners on, but you can't have a bunch of free passes, walks, and hit by pitches and win a lot of ball games because you've created too much opportunity. So if you're going to go with one or the other, pass on the strikeouts and continue to get after hitters.
The lone run for Campbell came back in the 2nd inning. It's been all Purdue. Here's 6 runs in the first 3 frames. And now Johnson to a filthy breaking ball. It's 1-2 to Ricca.
And do you think he goes back to the changeup here?
It's interesting because he's used it in select spots, especially with 2 strikes. Johnson, Purdue's strikeout leader from last year, has just 2 punch-outs, but they've come in these last 2 innings. There it is. Ricca goes around. Fascia to complete the process, and Cole, you called it. A punch out for Johnson ends the 5th through 5 innings, all Purdue thus far here at ESPN Plus. Welcome back in the booth. Evan Budrovich and Cole Hallam breaking things down through 5 innings of play. Purdue with 6 runs this far, picking up on their season average. What's gone so well for this offense?
They've stayed dedicated to their approach. They've had a multi-pronged offensive attack. They've bunted for hits. They've hit the ball out of the yard. They've taken free passes, and really they've continued to apply pressure to the Campbell defense.
If you're Campbell, the Friday night starter Cam Cowan came out in the third, but Brendan Wright stepped up. He's thrown 2 straight scoreless innings. What's gone so well for Wright?
Well, Wright's had some better command than Cowan did. We saw him struggle with location early. He wasn't able to find his breaking ball, and Wright's come in and he's done exactly that. He's challenged his zone and really attacked these hitters more so than Cowan was able to do.
So midway through this ball game, Purdue was out in front. And now for the Boilermakers, getting things rolling. Brendan Wright, 2 strikeouts in his last inning of work. And now trying to shut down the bottom third of this order. Albrecht, Powers, and Skylar Hunter here for Purdue. And here comes Brendan Wright, 5 straight batters with a first pitch strike and working ahead.
He's done a great job just establishing the fastball. It's enabled him to go to his off-speed pitches later in the count and really continue to attack.
Brendan Wright, the Holly Springs native, about 30 minutes here from Bowie's Creek, making his first home outing after redshirting last year. Wasn't part of the active 35. Cole, you had a redshirt season with injury. How difficult can that be, watching and observing, but then also learning at the same time?
It's tough. It's a great opportunity if you're able to get over it mentally. The fact that you're not playing and contributing to winning ball games, but it can be tough. You can start to feel a bit removed, and a year off from anything is going to make it tough to jump back into full speed action. And here it looks like he hasn't even skipped a step.
Evan Albrecht, meanwhile, has been a huge part for Purdue as a freshman. 42 starts at that shortstop position. And now as a sophomore, he goes around on the slider. Brendan Wright with his 3rd punch out in relief.
And we've seen Wright is not scared to go to his off-speed offerings. He has challenged the zone early, but the slider has been absolutely disgusting here tonight, and he's really gone to it and used it as his strikeout pitch, and it helps when you locate it well. And right here, starting it over the plate, inducing the check swing.
I mean, that ball started at the edge and went to the opposite batter's box. Not much you can do.
When you're that far ahead in the count, you have a little leeway to throw a ball. So if he doesn't swing, it's not the end of the world, but really perfectly executed slider there with 2 strikes.
Now some energy from this Campbell dugout that has sort of felt flat from the start of this game. Much to the credit of Purdue, who really jumped out ahead. If you're the Boilermakers, how can you match what Campbell has done, especially with a 5-run lead?
We saw how much energy the Boilermakers had early, putting all the runs on the board. Here we've gotten a little bit stagnant the last 2 innings or so. Campbell's trying to get back in this game. So if the Boilermakers are able to put up a run or so, or at least have a pretty decent offensive inning, they can continue to keep Campbell quiet and control the game.
College baseball is such a game driven by emotion. When you are down 6-1, what does it say about a club to spark that battery, if you will, and to bring the emotion in the dugout?
Well, Campbell needs to show what they're made of here. This is a personal game. We've talked about the coaching staffs of both sides and their relations to one another, but Campbell's getting kicked around a little bit, and it's going to be up to them to get any sort of energy they can in this game. A quick inning here from Wright would be a great start. A couple punch outs can get them moving, but you got to get it going offensively if you're going to have a chance.
2 2/3, 3 punch outs for Wright in relief. And a line drive right to Colin Wolf, who slides to make the play. 2 quick outs for Wright in the 6th.
And if you're Purdue, that's the guy on the field you don't want to hit it to. Campbell really relies on him to play defensively, and right there, Wolf's able to go over and make a backhand sliding catch, picks up another quick out, continuing to work their way through the inning. Really a pitch that Wright got away with on the slider with 2 strikes. Not as good as the strikeout pitch, but Wolf, as we know, will excel on the defensive side of the baseball.
Colin Wolf has moved back to shortstop. He was a recruited shortstop out of junior college, and he said his style of play is more effervescent and more aggressive. What have you noticed about Wolf at shortstop?
I love seeing him in the middle of the field. Anytime you're in the middle, you get to communicate. He's a loud guy. He's got a ton of personality, and he's also a leader on the Campbell team.
This line drive gets past the glove of Williams and in the left field. Skylar Hunter holding for a base hit, and a nice 2-out response, breaking the streak of 8 straight retired by Brendan Wright.
Big at bat by Skylar Hunter. You talk a lot about the momentum and the energy, and right there they're able to keep Wright from going through the 1-2-3 inning and getting his guys back on offense. And also a really nice job of Connor Denning out there in left field, cutting that baseball off, because as we saw, Hunter was looking to go to possibly stretch that into a double and create an extra base situation.
Skylar Hunter, 6th player all-time with 200 hits in his career. Very productive at the top of this order. Setting the stage for the Plant, who watches a breaking ball for strike one. That was the first hit for Purdue since forcing Cam Cowan out of the game. And now the Boilermakers a chance to add on here in this opening game of the Campbell Invitational. You know it's cold when folks from West Lafayette, Indiana are wearing long sleeves. The temperature's now at 26 degrees. A ground ball back to the hill. Brendan Wright does his job, and a quick inning in the 6th. Let's see if the Campbell Bats can respond or we return here on ESPN+.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading protection to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Whether it's the practice field or weight room, in class or on game day, we compete down here. We put in work, day in and day out, to take a step forward towards degrees, championships. Our goals? Excellence on every level. 11 schools, more than 4,000 student athletes, one attitude. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
BigSouthSports.com is the official online store of the Big South Conference. See what you can purchase online at BigSouthStore.com. Cole, what you buying first?
I think Campbell's hoodie with the cold weather. It might be a perfect first purchase for me.
I might go with the Hampton wallet. Kind of blue. That's my favorite color. Nifty.
It'd be a good look.
The Pirate logo is kind of neat as well. Nonetheless, Trent Johnson, he's been very effective on the hill. Through 5 innings of work, just 1 hit allowed. What has given Johnson the ability to keep Campbell off balance?
Well, I know I've said it, probably 100 times today, but he's gotten ahead in the count and hasn't given Campbell any opportunity. 1 hit is never going to hurt you. It's a 1-run home run, solo home run. To put Campbell down 6-1. Really, no harm, no foul there. Still has a sizable lead. So as long as he can continue to challenge and get his guys back on offense, he's going to be in a good situation. His pitch count's in good shape. So I really like the way he's attacked the zone and been able to control the game plan.
His ERA last year in conference play, 1.67. That was the second best in the Big Ten. And of course, when you speak of the Big Ten, programs like Ohio State, perennial NCAA tournament teams, Michigan, who just made the national championship series. That was the first time a Big Ten program has done it since 1965. And Waldy Arias shoots one into the bright lights. Albrecht calling for it. He makes the catch. What have you liked about the resurgence of the Big Ten Conference that has now sent 4 teams to the tournament the last year?
I think it's fantastic. A lot of these teams are big football schools, big well-known schools that compete on a national level. So anytime you get to bring somebody like that into town, you get big crowds, great intensity, and what they've done on the baseball side has been nothing short of impressive as they run teams into the postseason year in and year out.
Programs like Minnesota, Ohio State, Michigan making the tournament last year, to name a few. And Spencer Packard laying off. The RPI of the Big Ten was 6th best in the country last year. The Big South, meanwhile, had its best RPI campaign in nearly half a decade as Packard shoots one the other way. Here's the left fielder battling the sun and Ben Nissel for out number 2. Campbell played a big part of that in terms of RPI, finishing 50th in the country, but as an entire league, what allowed the Big South to have its best season in 5 years?
Well, they've been doing some big things in baseball. They've been making some regionals, getting some national exposure. That's going to allow you to play better teams, year in and year out. And anytime the whole conference is solid, it's going to help every team within to build that RPI up, facing tough teams on the weekends.
Trent Johnson continues to mow down hitters as he grooves a strike across to Colin Wolfe. The 1 hit allowed, Campbell has only had a runner reach second once tonight. Really dominant by Johnson.
It is, and anytime you limit opportunities, it's going to make it real tough to score, and Campbell hasn't been able to, get anything down. We've seen Purdue go to the bunt. We've seen him get hit by a couple pitches, a couple walks, and you mix in a couple hits into that equation, you got a couple runs, and they've got the 6-1 lead.
Colin Wolf wanted to get hit by that pitch, but it did not graze him. A little grin from Wolf, the senior, out of Puyallup, Washington. 1-2. Johnson's located all over the place tonight. Very effective with multiple pitches.
Any good pitcher, especially on a Friday night, you got big things expected of you. They know your best arm's on the mound. He's been able to pitch to both sides of the plate, throw off speed. He's gone to the breaking ball frequently, and we've seen the changeup a couple times in big strikeout situations.
Wolf, did he go around? No, he did not, says first base umpire Doug Vines. So the count is 2-2. Johnson, a strikeout pitcher by trade, 73 Ks last year, and yet tonight has 3 strikeouts, but has only walked 1. And you could argue maybe he's gotten better with the strikeouts as the game's gone on.
He has. He's really starting to open the arsenal.
And Wolf shoots it the other way. A 2-out base hit for Colin Wolf, his first of the evening. Just the second hit for Campbell tonight.
And one of the first Campbell hitters to really make an approach throughout this game. Now in the 6th inning, we've seen Campbell kind of be in between speeds, and that means you're not really sitting fastball, you're not really sitting breaking ball, you're somewhere caught in the middle, haven't been able to find their timing. But here Wolf has seen it a couple times, and it has a pretty good feeling breaking ball's coming right on time, able to lace that line drive into right field. It's really good to see Campbell make an adjustment, trying to get their offense going.
This after a Wednesday night win where they scored 7 runs on 10 hits. And Zach Williams wanted to change the score with 1 swing there for strike 1. Williams has a home run and 8 RBI, including a grand slam this year. Now trying to put that DeMarini to good use against Trent Johnson, who's been tough to hit. Johnson to the slider, and all of a sudden he's 1 strike away from getting out of the 6th inning.
Campbell's got a chance here with 2 outs with Wolf on first. We know the power that Zach Williams has. He's down in the count 0-2, but he can really strike at any time. Needs to make sure he doesn't give away in a bat here, and you really take what's given to him with 2 strikes. Not much you can do, but it's a big at bat. It's a big inning right in the middle that could possibly see them put a crooked number up and maybe jump back into the ball game.
Williams chokes up and waits on a pickoff attempt. As remember, Trent Johnson slid into the rotation in the final month of the season. 4 of his last 5 starts were quality starts. His team won 3 of those games, and for a Purdue team that only had 20 wins, so that's impressive. And now this season, after a difficult 2 2/3, he's bounced back to the Johnson of last year here tonight.
And things can get a little wiry early on in the season. Pitches get away, weather's interesting.
As Williams serves 1 to right, Symington all over it, and a quick inning for Trent Johnson. Through 6, it's been all Purdue here in Bowie's Creek. The Boilermakers up 6-1.
Your score after 6 complete.
Marriott Bonvoy, the official hotel partner of the Big South Conference. When you're looking to stay somewhere cheap, call Marriott Bonvoy. They got some great deals for you today. Proud sponsor of the Big South. It's been all Purdue here in the first game of the Campbell Invitational. 6-1 our score. All 6 runs have come for Purdue in the first 3 innings. A nice little pitcher's duel has formed since. And in the first meeting between 2 programs that are very intertwined, head coach for Purdue, Greg Goff, mentored and started here at Campbell. Had Justin Hare on his staff for 6 seasons. Now Hare in his 6th year as the full-time head coach, playing his mentor. He wouldn't tell us, but certainly on the mind of Justin, a big game like this. And going around is Zach Fazio, the home run hitter of yesteryear for strike one.
I think it's a unique opportunity for Hare and Goff to come back and play each other. There's two guys that have such a great relationship, but you want to get after each other. This is a proving ground for Coach Hare, who took the program over from Coach Goff when he went on to, new things. But, he wants to prove his point to Goff and show him exactly where he's at and that he's continued to grow. And likewise with Goff, come back and prove his point that, he's still the big man in town. So it's a unique opportunity. It's been a fun game to be a part of.
The pregame festivities were neat with all the hugs and conversations exchanged between two former coaches on the same staff as Wolf. Stabs this hard ground ball and records out number one. So Justin Hare, 162 wins at Campbell. Greg Goff accounting for over 220 wins with his time at Campbell, now at Purdue. Nearly a decade of history. That's just neat in the larger context. I know these coaches didn't necessarily plan for this to happen with Goff being promoted. But how as a player do you handle that? And I guess how as a coach do you manage the emotion of playing your teammate or your former friend in these 9 innings of competition?
You have to enjoy it. You have to find a way to, really excel in the moment because coaches are trying to put their players in high-pressure situations. We've seen teams in regionals. We've seen Campbell in the regional last year. And those games are high stakes no matter what the reason is.
Here's Nissel shooting a missile into right field. A line drive extra base hit into the corner. Ben Nissel holding at second. And his second hit of the ball game. Purdue cooking with a 1-out double.
We've talked a bit about their offense going stagnant, and here Nissel trying to get it sparked with 1 out, and trying to create an extra base hit opportunity so that they can score another run. Maybe shut the door on the Campbell team. It would really be a dagger.
Second double of the year for Nissel.
And you'll see him get the fastball in the outer half. It's something that Coach Goff's going to preach. Pokes it down the right field line. Ball's hit very well. And hustling out of the box, creating the double. I thought he almost had a chance at 3 with the ball possibly getting stuck in the snow out there.
Kind of felt like Will Ferrell there in Elf firing snowballs from right field. That was Grant Harris's responsibility. It was explained to us in the pregame that if the ball does go in the snow or the ice, it's a live ball, not dead, unless it is submerged. You have to reach for it and then stick your hands up. So something to keep an eye on if that does result later in the game. Symington up in the count, shoots one into the stars. Denning finally makes the catch and brings it back in for out number 1.
Nice job there by Brendan Wright, understanding the situation. He already has 1 out in the inning, although Nissel's on second base. It's his job to continue to attack hitters. If he does his job and puts them down in order, no runs are going to score right there attacking. And got himself here with 2 outs with Bryce Bonner coming to the plate. Great opportunity for him to get out of a big situation.
2 outs for Bryce Bonner, who's 1 for 2 today. Bonner with that bunt single, huge factor in the second inning. And Bonner's been red hot all year, 571 hitter. No signs of slowing down just yet for the Allen, Texas native, who was an all-freshman performer back in 2017, a productive career over the last 4 years. Skundrich, a nice snag there behind the plate. The count's 1-0.
And to see Wright go with the breaking ball out of the zone there. You spoke to how hot Bonner is with the 571 average. Not exactly the guy in the lineup you want to attack. So with a base open behind Nissel out there, expect them to be careful, not give away something too good to hit.
Bonner with 5 ribbies on the young campaign. Takes the slider, trying to make it 6, and the count works even. Bonner ended last year with 25 straight starts. Kind of an in and out of the lineup for Purdue. And here he is now breaking out in his senior campaign. He won the Mr. Boilermaker Award at Purdue for positive attitude and hard work off the field, which, as you know, is almost as important as productivity between the boxes.
It's crucial. They know that he's a guy that's going to be a great impact on their team, whether it's on the field, off the field, classroom, weight room. there's so many different aspects to being a student athlete, and to have a guy that you can count on to be positive and maintain a great work ethic is huge for a team.
2-1 to Bonner. The senior pokes one towards the right side, and that drifts out of play. Brendan Wright is one pitch away from getting through a tumultuous 7th inning, where Purdue has picked up its 8th hit on the double by Ben Nissel. The Boilermakers searching for their first ever win over Campbell in these teams' inaugural matchup. Part of a 3-game tournament this weekend, along with Maine and Villanova. The 2-2 from Wright is popped out of play. We've talked about Campbell's offense, the mentality hard to kill. Greg Goff, a very similar mindset with an offense that when he worked at Campbell led the nation in hit by pitches, and you're starting to see that tenacious approach with Purdue here in his first season as the head coach.
You are, and we've heard Coach Hara preach it, over and over, that you got to be hard to kill. You can't rely on one thing, but really Goff's done a great job of implementing the bunt plays. They've hit and run, they've stolen bases, they've hit the ball out of the yard, and that dynamic of an offense is tough to stop, and really they've done a better job of implementing their game plan here tonight than Campbell has.
Purdue 6 runs on 8 hits. All 6 of those runs coming in the first 3 innings. Brendan Wright now with a 2-2. Breaking ball called, strike 3. And Wright coming in and out of the pen, pumping in another punch out, his 4th. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Purdue up by 5.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading protection to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
We do this every day for men suffering from prostate cancer. The Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute treats several types of cancers: breast, lung, prostate, head and neck, ocular, GI, brain and spine, pediatric. There are no hospital stays with proton beam radiation. The beam travels right to the affected area and stops, which leads to fewer side effects. Call us now. It could make all the difference.
Live your life. Let the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute fight your cancer.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading protection to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
We do this every day for men suffering from prostate cancer. The Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute treats several types of cancers: breast, lung, prostate, head and neck, ocular, GI, brain and spine, pediatric. There are no hospital stays with proton beam radiation. The beam travels right to the affected area and stops, which leads to fewer side effects. Call us now. It could make all the difference.
Live your life. Let the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute fight your cancer.
Beautiful night in Buies Creek, North Carolina. Day 1 of the Campbell Invitational. Alongside Cole Hallam, Evan Budrovich with you this evening as Purdue goes to its bullpen, leading 6-1. Dominant start by Trent Johnson. 6 innings of 2-hit ball. And now for Purdue, Dalton Parker, the senior out of St. Joseph, Illinois, comes in. Parker overcame an injury, missed 6 weeks in the middle of last year. Only threw 10 2/3, but now in there in a big spot in this bottom of the 7th. His first challenge is Connor Denning, who shoots a ground ball to second. Down to the floor goes Powers. Back to first, and he makes the play.
What an excellent play there by Tyler Powers, ranging over to the 4-hole side, making the sliding play, really enabling his team to get off to a good inning here. As you see, this ball's well into the outfield when he fields it. Sliding, comes up, fires the strike. Really a big help out there for Dalton Parker.
Cue the Sports Center music. As Powers in this Purdue defense, they committed 3 errors in the opening series, but have looked excellent on the turf here today. Matt Christian with the home run, the big bop for Campbell so far. Working ahead in the count here against Dalton Parker, the academic all Big Ten selection. His major is organizational leadership. A lot smarter than you or I, that's for sure. 1-1 on the 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Dalton Parker, all-time in Purdue history, is top 10 in career whip, just a 1.25, so he throws strikes. And so far this year, 2 2/3 scoreless for Chris Marks' bullpen. And I will admit, for someone who does call games for Campbell, and Cole, you can speak to this, just seeing Chris Marks and his pitching philosophy on the other side of the dugout is kind of interesting to observe and report.
It is, and you see a lot of the same things just in a different jersey. It's weird to be calling it, for somebody else, talking about Chris Marks, working for Purdue, but he's done a great job. You can already see what he's been able to do with his staff. Pumping the strike zone, being able to go to any pitch in any situation. It just tells of his influence and how important he's going to be to this organization.
Dalton Parker, a big body, 6'4", 225, taking on the 6'5", Matt Christian. The 2-2 is just low in the zone. Fajia was trying to frame a strike, and instead the count is now full.
Really a great pitch there at the bottom of the zone, if not a tick low. I think if Fajia can hold on to it, maybe the call goes the other way. Either way, great pitch for Parker there. Really can build on that here.
3-2 to Matt Christian, the senior from Alabama. The pitch is drilled out to left, playing deep and dropping in front of Ben Nissel. A base hit for Christian, his second hit of the night.
Good piece of hitting there by Matthew Christian, getting a fastball. We've seen Campbell be a little bit hesitant towards attacking the fastball, but with the full count, he jumps all over it. And you can see Ben Nissel out there in left field showing you how much power Christian has at the plate, playing him almost on the track. So really a good job of hitting there, not doing too much, punches the ball into left field, picks up the single.
That's the third time Christian has collected 2 or more hits in a ball game this year. Here's Grant Harris searching for his first base knock of the season against the senior right-hander for Purdue, Dalton Parker, who drills in a ball just a bit inside. Parker excellent in his debut, earned the win in the middle game of the series against Hofstra, 2 2/3, all scoreless. And Harris turns on a pitch. This baby is goodbye. Shot cuts the lead in half.
That could be just the spark that this Campbell offense has been waiting for. Very reminiscent of what we saw from Grant Harris last year in the Big South tournament, pulling the ball down the right field line and hitting it for power. Right here, gets his fastball opportunity, doesn't miss it at all. It's a no-doubt home run over there on the new Campbell hump in right field, picking up 2 runs and making this a whole new ball game here at 6-3.
A no-doubter for Grant Harris, his first home run of the season. And now some life in this Campbell dugout. All of a sudden, for Dalton Parker, struggling to throw strikes, and momentum, we talked about shifting on a scale, it started to slide towards the team in black.
It definitely is, and it can change throughout a game. We haven't seen Dalton Parker been able to get ahead in the count and throw off-speed pitches the way we saw with Trent Johnson. So if he can't get to that, look for this Campbell offense to continue trying to capitalize on the fastball.
Here's Chris Marks, the former pitching coach at Campbell, now trying to discuss here with his senior right-hander how to get out of a tight jam. Parker's first run he's given up this year after an excellent start by Trent Johnson. How many times do we say this in baseball? A dominant starter comes out, a new chance for life for both teams.
That's what both of these coaches were probably preaching before this game was, hey, let's get the starter out of the game, get into the bullpen, and see what we can stir up. A little bit of inexperience, some new arms, and 2 highly touted starters coming in. You knew the sooner you got those guys out of the ball game, you'd have a better chance.
Already warming up is Bo Hofstra, the closer, getting loose in the 7th inning. How about that?
That's a big ask for a closer. A lot of times you'll see guys are expected to get 3 outs, occasionally up to 6, but to come in and get possibly 9 outs if Dalton Parker can't get out of this situation, that's a big ask for a closer.
2-0 to Marcus Skundrich. He's hitting .385, the senior catcher. He started just a handful of games last year, but red hot as a senior. Parker's 2-0 up and inside. And now Dalton Parker facing some adversity here in his second outing of the season.
And his blood pressure's got to be going through the roof. You hear this crowd starting to get pretty loud here. Campbell's starting to have some belief, and that's exactly what Purdue wanted to avoid late in this game.
Game 1 of the Campbell Invitational, living up to the billing. And ball forward to Skundrich. Pace fired up, and the pressure's on the 6'4 senior. Dalton Parker issuing the walk.
And just this inning, we've already seen Campbell get more opportunities really than they had in the first 6. So they're starting to feel alive. They're starting to feel the hope. They're hitting the ball hard. And we're starting to see Dalton Parker not have what we saw out of Trent Johnson the first 6 innings.
Remember, Purdue last season when leading after 6 innings, 12-0. Did not lose a single game. A lot to be done here in the 7th inning if you're the back end of the Purdue bullpen. After Trent Johnson, 6 innings of brilliance, just 1 run allowed. The batter now is A.J. Ricka out of the 9 spot. And Ricka attacks the first pitch, but misses on the heater.
Gotta love the aggression there from Ricka. He can smell blood in the water. And getting a fastball, it's a little elevated, maybe not his pitch, but you're not going to tone your guys back on the aggression as long as it's controlled.
A 2-run home run by Grant Harris has changed the narrative here in the 7th inning. 1-1 to Ricka, who did not hit a home run here at home last year. And Ricka did show some power over the course of his season. 2 home runs, and both coming in postseason play.
He's definitely got the pop, and we've seen the velocity from Dalton Parker around 90 miles an hour. The velocity is going to be there to hit out of the yard. It's just going to be staying disciplined right there, taking the fastball down. You've got yourself ahead in the count, 2-1. Don't chase. If it's not your pitch, don't hit it because he's having trouble finding the zone. Keep the pressure on Dalton Parker. Don't bail him out of this big moment.
Keep in mind the closer is now warming up quickly. Bo Hofstra, the junior. Right-hander getting loose. Parker coming out of the pen and facing all sorts of trouble here in the 7th inning. The 2-1 is ripped off the glove of first into right field for a base hit. Moving to third goes Skundrich. Ricka wants second. And a double for Campbell. Tying run coming to the plate here in the 7th.
That's the exact reason you don't take the break. You don't put the brakes on with your offense. Ricka's a good hitter. He knows what he's capable of. Gets a fastball in the inside half and really rips one right down the line, creating a double, pushing runners to second and third here with 1 out. Campbell's going to be able to extend on this comeback, tighten up this game even further if they can execute their at-bats.
Second double of the season for A.J. Ricka. And what a difference a couple of inches may make. Instead of a double play, it's second and third with 1 out. And it all got started with Grant Harris.
He doesn't miss. We've seen him come through for Campbell in big opportunities. He knew it off the bat. That's a ball that he absolutely crushes to right field. And he's the one, you're exactly right, that sparked this opportunity.
Now time is called, and that blood pressure that was probably fuming is starting to really heat up, enough to warm up this ballpark tonight with temperatures in the high 20s.
This is a brand new ball game, and I can guarantee Dalton Parker is feeling the pressure. I've been in his situation before. I know what it feels like to have ducks on the pond around you and a dangerous offense at the plate. I can't agree enough with Fascia going out there. Let's calm it down. Let's slow it down. Not only does it give Dalton Parker a moment to relax, but it also gives Hofstra a moment in the bullpen down there to get his mind right because he's coming into this ball game.
Hofstra is the closer this season, 2 saves on the year. And Purdue's going to go to the bullpen thanks to this base hit by Ricka.
And what a great job it is. He showed he wanted to be aggressive early. Wasn't up there to take, although Parker was a little wild. He's up there to capitalize on opportunities to create offense for his team.
A 7th inning rally for Campbell forces the hand of Greg Goff, the head coach at Purdue, and he's going to go to the bullpen. New ball game here in the 7th. When we come back, the Boilermakers going to their closer, trying to shut down Campbell's rally. It's 6-3 here on ESPN+.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading protection to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
We do this every day for men suffering from prostate cancer. The Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute treats several types of cancers: breast, lung, prostate, head and neck, ocular, GI, brain and spine, pediatric. There are no hospital stays with proton beam radiation. The beam travels right to the affected area and stops, which leads to fewer side effects. Call us now. It could make all the difference.
Live your life. Let the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute fight your cancer.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading protection to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
We do this every day for men suffering from prostate cancer. The Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute treats several types of cancers: breast, lung, prostate, head and neck, ocular, GI, brain and spine, pediatric. There are no hospital stays with proton beam radiation. The beam travels right to the affected area and stops, which leads to fewer side effects. Call us now. It could make all the difference.
Live your life. Let the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute fight your cancer.
Beautiful night in Bowie's Creek. Campbell inching their way back here in the seventh. A two-run home run by Grant Harris makes it 6-3 in the first ever matchup between Campbell and Purdue. And it's lived up to what could be the best matchup of the weekend here in the Campbell Invitational. New pitcher in for the Purdue Boilermakers. It's the closer in Bo Hofstra taking on Waldy Arias and the top of the Campbell lineup. Campbell already 2 runs in. A double by A.J. Recca puts runners at second and third for Arias. And all of a sudden, control being an issue here. Hofstra has 2 saves and 2 appearances. Now inherits his toughest spot of the year.
And this is why baseball is so interesting. These are moments that you truly can't prepare for, whether it's in an inter-squad or a practice game, you know, whatever you call it. But until you get thrown in the fire with a couple guys in scoring position and a 3-run lead, you can't prepare for that. So we'll see if he can add up to the moment and get his team out of the big situation.
Waldy Arias 0 for 3 today, trying to keep alive a 3-game hit streak. Taking on the 6'5" righty who has 10 career saves. 1-2, perfect slider that time.
And a good take there by Waldy. You're expecting fastballs from Bo Hofstra, a guy that throws in the low 90s. Great fastball action right there, able to go to the off-speed pitch on the corner. You're not going to be able to do much there, but here with 2 strikes, it's important. Put the ball to the big part of the field, keep it away from the corners, try to at least get 1 more run in.
Tying run at the plate. Arias lays off, and it's 2-2. The inning started with Parker coming in, giving up the double to Recca. That extended the inning after a Skundrich walk, now second and third. And Waldy Arias with 2 RBI on the young season. A chance to double that mark with 1 out in the inning. Checked his swing, and he did not go around. So a full count to Arias. Maybe the biggest pitch of the ball game coming up.
It definitely is, and it's a tricky situation for Arias as well. With a full count, he's got to also understand that there is a base open and there's 1 out, so they might not give him anything too good here, because if they do walk him, it sets up a double play situation. So be disciplined, make sure the ball's in the zone.
The 3-2. Ground ball up the middle. That catches 1. Powers to first and picked out by Gavre. 6-4 the score on the RBI ground down.
Fantastic job there by Waldy Arias. Not doing too much. He understands the situation. He needs to stay in the big part of the ballpark. Gets a pitch he can handle with a full count. Fastball, drives it up the middle, allows a runner to move over to third base, brings a run in. Really a perfectly executed at bat there in a big situation.
Spencer Packer would love to break his woes right here. An 0 for 3 start and a season that has been tough sledding for the all-conference selection out of the Big South last year. Bo Hofstra to his patented breaking ball, and there's strike 1.
Shows you how much respect they have for Packard here with the bases open. go into the breaking ball. They don't want to give up the big ball. They know what kind of power he has, and with a 2-run ball game, they're one swing away from this thing being tied up. So be careful, tread lightly, and live to fight another day.
Hofstra's 0-1 is drilled to right. Powers drifting back into right field, and he makes a catch. We go to the 8th. Campbell strikes for 3. It's Purdue up by 2 here on ESPN+. Welcome back to Jim Perry Stadium alongside the Campbell All-American Cole Hallam, Evan Budrovich with you tonight. It's Purdue 6-4 here in the 8th as Campbell scores 3 runs in the 7th to crawl right back. And now on the mound for his debut pitching appearance, Lawson Harrell, the freshman out of Shelby, checks in. He's a two-way player and a first chance to see him on the mound this year. And first pitch, Jitter Woes, a little bit high and inside to Mason Gavray, getting things started. Purdue has not scored since the 3rd inning. How critical is this frame for the Boilermakers?
It's huge. We saw the offensive explosion last inning for Campbell, really jumping back in this game, creating a safe situation for Bo Hofstra. So if Lawson Harrell is able to find the strike zone, not an easy situation to be thrown into for your first outing. So he's got to try to get his team back in the dugout and see if they can continue to build and come all the way back. It'd be a great story if they're able to come back against Goff and company.
Rather fitting. Harrell was the Big South Conference Player of the Year. That's in his high school level out in the Shelby, North Carolina area. Rather fitting he goes to the same conference in the college ranks. That past year, he was mostly a hitter, but could do both, hitting and pitching. Here he is now as a two-way prospect for Campbell, making his debut outing, following up Brendan Wright's excellent appearance, entered in the 3rd. And the 1-2, plunks Gavray, he's on. Leadoff man reaching for Purdue.
And Gavray there just getting caught by the breaking ball. Not going to hurt too bad tomorrow, but here in these cold temperatures, you can imagine it doesn't feel great. But anyway, finds a way to extend the inning and continue to create opportunity. They've been flat, for so long since the 3rd inning, and right there, the breaking ball just catches them right in the back. They've created opportunity, got a runner on base.
Campbell has now hit Purdue 4 times in this game. And now the Boilermakers going to make a pitch runner check it into this ball game. Mike Bolton Jr., the speedster.
Now pitch running at first base for the Boilermakers, number 30, Mike Bolton Jr. Bolton Jr. pitch running for the Boilermakers.
Evan Albrecht comes back in. The shortstop has been critical defensively today. A big spot here with a single early on, looking to bunt. And this is where Purdue's going to test Campbell's defense.
And what a great opportunity to do so. They've been flat, haven't been able to bang the ball too much the last few innings. Let's get a runner on, let's bunt him over, create a little bit of pressure. It's cold temperatures, see if Campbell can make the routine plays or if they can come away with a freebie.
Temperatures now at 26 degrees with the sun setting. And Albrecht, no reason to bunt just yet. It's 2-0 here against Lawson Harrell, the freshman making his pitching debut. And now Tyler Robinson, the pitching coach, makes a slow walk out to the mound. Action getting ready in the bullpen. And Robinson having a conversation here with Harrell.
It's a tough situation, especially for a young kid to be out there in such a big game. Stakes are high, weather's cold. Yeah, that's not ideal pitching conditions, especially for your first outing of the year. And you can only feel for him. Hopefully he can get it tied down and get back in the zone, force these guys to compete, put the bunt on the ground.
Campbell to make a pitching change here in the 8th. So Lawson Harrell's day is done. And Tyler Robinson wasting no time going to the bullpen. New arm for the Camels when we come back. Right now it's Purdue up by 2. More action after this on ESPN+.
Whether it's the practice field or weight room, in class or on game day, we compete down here. We put in work, day in and day out, to take a step forward towards degrees, championships. Our goals? Excellence on every level. 11 schools, more than 4,000 student athletes, one attitude. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
Geico makes it easy to get help when I need it. With licensed agents available 24/7, it's not just easy. It's having Jerome Bettis on your flag football team easy. Go get him, Bus!
Ooh. Come on, Bus. Come on. Hey, wait. Man, I got the flag. I got your flag, man. I got your flag.
It's Geico Easy. With licensed agents available 24/7.
49-0.
Whether it's the practice field or weight room, in class or on game day, we compete down here. We put in work, day in and day out, to take a step forward towards degrees, championships. Our goals? Excellence on every level. 11 schools, more than 4,000 student athletes, one attitude. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
Geico makes it easy to get help when I need it. With licensed agents available 24/7, it's not just easy. It's having Jerome Bettis on your flag football team easy. Go get him, Bus!
Ooh. Come on, Bus. Come on. Hey, wait. Man, I got the flag. I got your flag, man. I got your flag.
It's Geico Easy. With licensed agents available 24/7.
49-0.
The sun is set. The weather's chilling down as this game heats up. 6-4 here in the 8th. Purdue and Campbell, the first ever matchup between these clubs. And Campbell back to its bullpen early on in this 8th inning. Jack Yusko, the Raleigh native, comes in, his 3rd outing of the year. What's Yusko's job right in this situation?
Well, Yusko needs to first and foremost minimize damage, come in, attack the zone, and get outs. But also looking further into the weekend, it's going to be important for him to limit pitch count, continue to keep himself available because we know how important he is out of the back end of the bullpen.
Jack Yusko, a submariner by trade, has lifted his arm angle a little bit this year. You'll see that a bunch. He keeps tabs on the runner at first. And Mike Bolton Jr., the pitch runner here for Purdue. Bolton has come in these situations in 3 games now this year, 2-run. And good speed in the bottom of this order for Greg Goff's club. And you can tell Yusko has that scouting report locked in. This is going to be a good battle to watch.
It is, and he's a veteran on the team. He's thrown a lot of innings, had a lot of important outings in big situations. So he's a guy that you trust to pick over, not a younger guy that maybe hasn't picked off when the stakes are high. You want to avoid throwing one down the line, but still be able to control the running game.
Taking for strike is Evan Albrecht. And that's more of the submarine sidearm action we saw from Yusko last year in 17 outings. Kind of unique as a pitcher when you can mix and match arm angles.
It is. It brings a whole new dynamic to the game, as if one arm angle isn't tough enough to hit. He really opens up 2 or 3 more pitches from a lower arm angle. Just gives the hitter more to think about.
Now the 2-1. Here's a swing, and Albrecht shoots one out of play. Purdue last scored in the 3rd inning, a 4-run third, forcing Cam Cowan out of the ball game. Now a big spot for the Boilermakers, needing some insurance after Campbell scored 3 of their own in the 7th.
About 2 innings ago, you probably could have said this game was over, and with the way it was trending, I probably would have agreed. But here with Campbell only down 2 runs and all the momentum, if they can get out of this inning, it's a brand new ball game, and Purdue knows that. They've put their stud out there in Bo Hofstra to make sure that they can get out of here with a win.
Hofstra forced a line drive out off the bat of Spencer Packard to keep it a 2-run game. Would have driven in a run with a single. And now after a leadoff hit by pitch, Campbell goes to its bullpen once more. Runner is off from first. Pitch for a strike. Throw to second. A perfect tag by Wolf. And Skundrich guns down out number 1.
Skundrich continues to impress us. He's been great offensively, and he's really become a stud behind the plate and grown into his role back there as the battery of this defense. Right here, Yusko, not the quickest delivery time, but firing a strike right on the money. That's tough to beat no matter how fast you are.
Strike him out, throw him out for Marcus Skundrich, and now there's 2 outs in the inning.
You talk about tides turning. That's a big momentum. It's a risky play on both sides. It's high risk, high reward. You get to strike him out, throw him out. You're potentially 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning, going back on offense.
2 outs now for Tyler Powers, the second baseman, who's 1 for 2 tonight. Well, we talked about Yusko doing his job, getting an assist there from Skundrich, who's now gunned out 4 runners this season.
He's done a great job. He's a run stopper back there. He's creating, forcing guys to stay station to station. They're not going to take free bags. And really what it's also helped with is to keep Yusko's pitch count low.
Powers pops one up. Ricka reading, coming in. And a 1-2-3 inning for the Campbell bullpen. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th. Purdue holding on to a 2-run lead on ESPN+.
Whether it's the practice field or weight room, in class or on game day, we compete down here. We put in work, day in and day out, to take a step forward towards degrees, championships. Our goals? Excellence on every level. 11 schools, more than 4,000 student athletes, one attitude. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
Geico makes it easy to get help when I need it. With licensed agents available 24/7, it's not just easy. It's having Jerome Bettis on your flag football team easy. Go get him, Bus!
Ooh. Come on, Bus. Come on. Hey, wait. Man, I got the flag. I got your flag, man. I got your flag.
It's Geico Easy, with licensed agents available 24/7.
49-0.
Wow, what a shot as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Purdue trying to hang on late in this affair. The Boilermakers up by 2. Their 3rd trip to North Carolina in 3 years. And it's been a tight one here on ESPN+. Back out there for the bottom of the 8th is the closer. Bo Hofstra got a key out to end the 7th. And you'd imagine 6 more outs to go to try to shut this game down.
That's a big ask. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Closers are usually expected to get 3 outs, possibly up to 6, but here asking him to get 8 or 9 outs, that's going to be tough, especially with the pitching change last inning. It is cold. He sat in that dugout for a while, so we'll see if Justin Hare can get his team fired up and create a little bit more offense.
For Harris Club, it started last inning with a home run by Grant Harris. How can they manufacture runs late in this one?
They need to continue to take what's given to them. We saw a couple free passes last inning, and then that really started the offense, gave them a little bit of momentum. You see a couple hits, a big home run. all of a sudden you've put a crooked number on the board and having to create every single opportunity.
Just to note, Justin Fugit goes over to first base for a defensive replacement for Purdue. And now Hofstra working ahead to Colin Wolf in the heart of this Campbell lineup, 3-4-5. Wolf, a hard chopper to third. LaPlante all over it. And the new first baseman, Fugit, right there, out number one.
Good answer here by Bo Hofstra coming out into a fresh inning. Goes back-to-back sliders, induces a ground out by Colin Wolf. Great job by LaPlante. Catch fire, don't make it too difficult. Pick up the first out, try to get your team back in, try to limit the Campbell offense and the momentum.
Purdue last year finished dead last, 13th in the Big Ten in fielding percentage. We've seen some clean defense from the Boilermakers tonight. Zach Williams watches strike one. 5 outs to work with against Bo Hofstra. 7 saves last year, an ERA below 1.5. A nice option for the back end of Chris Marks' bullpen.
He's got to be feeling pretty good anytime he runs Hofstra out to the mound.
Williams with a fly out to Powers, and 2 quick outs for the Purdue closer.
He's looked great going to his slider early, pitching a little bit backwards, especially a guy that throws in the low 90s. Great fastball. And, they're able to pound the fastball inside, tie up Williams, creates more weak contact, another out.
4 straight retired by Bo Hofstra, the senior, out of the pen. And now Connor Denning, who's 0 for 3 tonight, digs in. Trying to get Campbell's offense cooking in the 8th. First time that Hofstra's worked from behind in this inning. Campbell last season, when trailing after 7, did not win a game, 0-15. Purdue, conversely, did not lose a game when leading in this juncture. A new season, and right now, Purdue pounded in strikes, 1-1 to Denning.
And an interesting topic you brought up earlier was about the back end of Purdue's bullpen, not blowing saves, not giving up runs, how tough they were. We talked about Campbell needing to beat them at least by the middle innings, and here they are trailing. It's definitely going to be a tough situation.
Good slider that time by Hofstra, 1-2 to Denning. This Purdue pitching staff, they've only struck out 3 hitters. They forced the ball in play and done a nice job limiting the damage.
And anytime you have pitchers that are pitching to that much contact, you're not getting big strikeout numbers. We just touched on it, but how good of defense has this Purdue team been able to play? They've made almost every play out there with no errors. They've been all over the field, helping out their pitching staff.
2-2 to Denning. It was a home run and an RBI this year. That was back on Wednesday in the win over ECU. Denning, the JUCO transfer from Mesa Community College. Former teammates of Marcus Skundrich reunited here in his final season. Now the 2-2 is taken for strike 3. The hitter rings him up, and Hofstra a scoreless frame. We head to the 9th. Purdue hanging on to a 2-run lead here on ESPN Plus. Zach Faja with a home run in the first inning, our Ford Precision play of the game.
Really the hit that sparked it all coming out. We weren't sure what we were going to get in this matchup, and Faja comes up, hits a big shot to right field, sparks the Purdue offense to a big run early, able to create a 6-0 lead that's now been chipped away to 6-4. So how important was it getting started early and establishing that lead?
First matchup ever between Purdue and Campbell The Campbell bullpen entering in the third inning they've pitched a perfect game out of the pen. And Jack Yusko did his job in the eighth, setting up now the top of the ninth.
The Campbell bullpen, can't be more ecstatic about their approach. They may have come in a little bit sooner than they wanted to with Cowan not getting the start, off in the right direction. But after that, they've come in. They've done a great job. Yusko limits the big opportunity last inning, cuts down a couple guys, and here we are with him back out.
Top of the order for Purdue. Skylar Hunter looking to bunt, testing the third baseline, and that's foul. Brendan Wright set the tone, I believe. 4 1/3, scoreless baseball, no hits allowed. What does an effort like that do over the course of a 3-game tournament setting?
Well, first of all, I think the only reason Campbell's still in this ball game is simply because of Brendan Wright. You're talking about a talented Purdue team rolling with all the momentum, and he really came in and stagnated it and prolonged his outings to save some arms in the bullpen. So with that being said, they're going to be able to save the majority of their guys, against a couple other good teams this weekend, whereas they could have been in tough shape with Cowan only going a couple innings.
Purdue led by the big 4-run third. That's the 5th time this year the Boilermakers have scored 4 more runs in an inning, an explosive offense. It has gone a bit quiet here in the back half of the game, and yet swinging with confidence up by 2 runs.
It has, and the reason it's kind of slowed down a bit is because Brendan Wright did a great job of limiting opportunities. We didn't see him hitting a bunch of guys or walking them, giving away free passes. Purdue's had to create everything that they've gotten from then on out, and it's tough to score in that. And we've seen that the ball's not going to fly, especially to the big part of the ballpark in center field and to the gaps, and it made it really tough on them.
Yusko up in the count 1-2 to Skylar Hunter, who's 2 for 4 today. And now even. Skylar Hunter, we mentioned early in the game that he was all-tournament team selection 2 years ago for Purdue, making the NCAA tournament for just the 3rd time, and that's the first time since 2012 the Boilermakers got back to the regional play. And now Hunter with a full count, trying to bring that full circle, if you will, as a senior. Taking on the senior right-hander in Jack Yusko, one of 15 seniors on this Campbell roster.
It's a great class for Coach Hare.
And a big one, too.
You got 15 guys that you can depend on, guys that have been in the fire. Yusko's been in big situations, and there's not one bigger that so far this year that he's been in.
Ball 4 to Skylar Hunter, working back from a 1-2 count, and a leadoff walk for the Purdue leadoff man.
Skylar Hunter's been great throughout this game. We've seen him track down a couple deep balls out there in center field. It's been a force offensively, 2 for 4, just taking the walk there. So it's a big moment for Yusko. He's a ground ball pitcher. Good opportunity for him to get something hard on the ground, try to get a double play, get that momentum back, because it is kind of hanging in the balance for this moment.
Kyle LaPlante now digs in. Started his day 0 for 4, and you can tell he's looking to bunt here. There's been a couple of chances late in this game for Purdue to extend the lead with some small ball, unable to do it. Does that stress wear on a team offensively?
It does. You want to produce, a bigger lead for your pitching staff because you know how easy things can change, especially with the power on both sides. So yeah, anytime you're trying to score, you haven't scored now in 5-6 innings, the pressure's on them to try to extend.
This bunt is dropped down beautifully. Yusko goes to first, and there's out number 1. LaPlante moves Hunter into scoring position.
Perfectly executed sacrifice bunt by LaPlante right there. Really simplifies his job, does a great job of seeing the ball to his barrel, punching it right to the right side, forcing Yusko to go over, only has one play at first base, moves his guy up successfully into scoring position.
And now the power hitter in this lineup, Zach Fazia, coming off the home run earlier tonight, now to 4 RBI. And Campbell will intentionally walk Fazia. 2 on with 1 out for Purdue.
That's a smart play there for Campbell. We know how dangerous he is offensively. Not only that, but it's a right-left matchup with Yusko and Fazia at the plate. So bring up the right-handed hitter, here in Nissel and try to attack him, force the ground ball, try to get him to beat something over to Colin Wolf that you could turn 2 on.
Purdue tonight with runners in scoring position, hitting .375. That runner at second now is a big one in Skylar Hunter in this 2-run ball game. Was time called before he went to second with the pickoff there?
It was bang-bang. It was definitely stalling out, so it could have been called kind of simultaneously. I don't think that would have played even had he thrown the ball.
Instead, a fresh count to Ben Nissel, who's got 2 hits tonight and takes a slider for strike 1. This Purdue Boilermakers club, led by Greg Goff in his first season as the head coach. He was the volunteer the last 2 years. And now trying to guide his club to a first road win tonight. Quickly 0-2 to Nissel. Purdue was picked outside the top 6 in the preseason poll. The Big Ten Conference Online just releases the top 6 on their website, kind of leaves the rest up to how it's going to unfold. Campbell was picked the favorite in the Big South this preseason. Second straight year they've earned that selection. The 2 heavy hitters getting after it in Bowie's Creek tonight. In the pro game, that's a balk. In the college game, that's allowed.
It's very borderline reaching to try and get a pick there at second base, but definitely with the squat, delayed the turn. It could go either way, and it's pretty suspect. Probably one, you're right, that you're going to get away with in college, but definitely not at the next level.
This could be trouble. Drifting back is Arias. He makes the catch. Both runners retreat back to the bags as Waldy Arias saves a base hit.
Waldy saved a big hit and possibly more there with that ball drifting right over second base. Really a jam shot right up the middle, and you can see just how fast Arias is running back there, ranging for the catch, really looking to make a double play if there was somebody at second. But either way, good grab. You've got 2 outs here and a clear path out of the inning.
And what's difficult on that play, because explain it to me, right? If you're the pitcher, Yusko, you can't go to second because you got to cover the plate.
It's a tricky situation because you can't be in 2 places at once.
Well, there's a wild pitch moving both runners up. Might quiet the conversation for a second, but explain to us a little bit how that play unfolds.
Well, you can't be in 2 places at once. Everybody knows that. Ideally, Wolf would understand he's not going to get to that ball, and Arias has a chance. But however, if that ball does drop, Yusko definitely has to be behind home. And here, just getting a little too amped up, leaving the ball high and arm side. With his low release point, that ball's going to have a ton of run, and you see it run away from Skundrich. Still, no big deal here. Not too different of a situation. You got to get your guy at the plate, and if you get your guy at the plate, none of the rest of it matters.
Campbell, an intentional walk issued to Miles Symington. And Greg Goff now wants an explanation. I think he's going to bring in a pitch runner in this situation. Okay, so coming in to run is Milo Beam, the senior outfielder from Westfield, Indiana.
First base for the Boilermakers, number 25, Milo Beam. Beam pinch running at first.
Base is loaded for Purdue, and a big at-bat for Bryce Bonner. Bonner already with 5 RBI on the young season, including a ribby tonight. What a spot with the bases loaded against Yusko. Strike 1 on the slider, especially with the closer Bo Hofstra doing his job. A base hit here may put this game out of reach.
I think you're beating down the right path there. Hofstra's tough. We've seen him come in and shut down the last 2 innings. 2 runs is already a stretch to ask of the Campbell offense, but if they extend this any further, they're going to be in trouble.
Instead, it's 0-2 as Yusko goes a little sidearm that time and pumps it up to 80 miles an hour. 2 intentional walks in the inning. Jack Yusko trying to keep this a 2-run ball game as Purdue threatening in the 9th. Remember, the Boilermakers have not scored since the 3rd inning. The 0-2 into right. Harris playing in. And Jack Yusko gets out of the jam. Campbell down to its final 3 outs. Purdue trying to put this ball game away. We'll have it when we come back on ESPN+.
Musco Lighting. We make it happen.
Bon boy.
Bon boy.
That's just too good. Brilliant from
Bon boy!
Discover the new language of travel. Marriott Bonvoy. 30 hotel brands, endless experiences, rewards, reimagined.
Purdue 3 outs away from an opening victory here at the Campbell Invitational. Boilermakers jumped out 6-1 in the third. Now we got a tight ball game in the bottom of the ninth. And back to work, the closer, Bo Hofstra, who has already thrown 2 innings of work here in relief. His longest outing this year is exactly 2 innings, so they had a couple more outs to put away Campbell in the ninth.
And Campbell's got to be going out there hoping that he is getting tired. It's a cold night. He spent a couple long innings in the dugout, but it's tough to say with how good his stuff was last inning and the inning before. He looked pretty unfazed by the big ask of 9 outs, and here he is out here competing. They got the work cut out for him to create 2 runs off such a dangerous closer.
Fitting that's the Campbell pitching coach, former pitching coach Chris Marks, back in Bowie's Creek, relying on his heavy hitters out of the pen to put away his former team.
It's a tricky situation, and I know Coach Marks probably feels a little awkward in the situation knowing that he spent 50, 60 games last year in the Campbell dugout here on the other side of it, hoping to come away with a win.
Matt Christian lead things off here in the ninth, working ahead in the count. 2 hits for Christian. That's his 2nd straight game with multiple hits. None bigger than to lead off this 9th inning against the closer, Bo Hofstra, the senior. And Hofstra almost rides Christian inside, 2-0. A home run for Christian back in the 2nd. And a single in the 7th inning. He came around to score as well, part of that 3-run 7th. Skied into the air. High and playable for Milo Beam. The shortstop drifting back. And making the catch is Evan Albrecht for out number 1.
Good pitch there by Bo Hofstra, just showing how powerful his fastball is. Sneaks it in on Christian, who hits it every bit as high as he needs for another home run, but gets just a tick under it. And a nice catch there by Albrecht to bring it home.
The sophomore out of Wisconsin able to squeeze that one in. 1 out for Grant Harris, who picked up his first hit in his last at-bat. That was his first hit of the season, and he falls behind in the count. Bo Hofstra entered with 1 out in the 7th. Gave up an inherited run, but has now really worked comfortably late in this game.
He looks settled in. He's coming in. He's throwing his fastball exactly where he wants it right there. Going with the slider against the left-handed hitter, Grant Harris. Got him down in the count, 0-2. He's settled in. He's comfortable. He doesn't look fatigued from all the pitches.
The 0-2 off the end of the bat towards second. Powers plays it on an awkward hop, and there's out number 2.
That's exactly what he needed. He's in his 3rd inning. He needs to keep the pitches low, maximize his bullets, and right there goes back to the off-speed pitch and the slider. Just sliding past the barrel on Harris, beats it over to second base, kind of poorly hit, and picks up another ground out.
Campbell down to its final chance. This is Marcus Skundrich. There's a couple of walks today, and Skundrich takes strike 1. Bo Hofstra's longest outing of his career is 4 innings at Indiana State. That was last season, early in the year. Now searching for his 3rd save. And it's 1-1 to Skundrich.
And a really good pitch there by Hofstra on the corner. Shows just how comfortable he is. That's a slider, trying to induce the swing and run it just off the plate. It is a ball, but it's a quality miss.
1-2 to Skundrich. Bo Hofstra trying to finish off would be an impressive win for Purdue. Coming on the road, they moved to 4-1. Campbell fresh off a top 25 victory over ECU, down to its final strike in the senior Marcus Skundrich. Able to fight that pitch off, still 1-2. Campbell, 4 runs on 5 hits tonight, 3 of those coming in the 7th. But not much to show for it in these final 2 innings, trying to mount a comeback. 2-2. if Skundrich were to reach, A.J. Ricka is getting loose in the on-deck circle. He would represent the tying run.
He would, and we've seen him put some good swings here on the ball here lately. He even has some success tonight. Got the double, moving a couple runners around for Campbell.
That ends the ball game. A strikeout for Bo Hofstra. 2 2/3 to shut it down, and Purdue picks up its first ever win over Campbell, coming in the Buies Creek, a 6-4 winner.
Purdue came in, they executed their game plan early. Luckily for them, it was big enough for them to be able to hold on to, as they didn't amount to much offense late, but they established their dominance and scored enough runs early on to come away with the win.
For Cole Hallam, Evan Budrovich signing off from Buies Creek. Your final score, Purdue 6, Campbell 4. This is a presentation of ESPN. Watch this game online on the ESPN app. Signing off tonight as Purdue picks up the 6-4 win.
Have a great night, everyone, and go Camels. Just a reminder, tomorrow.